Hello, hi everyone. Can you hear me? Okay, fantastic. I've received a couple of thumbs ups. Fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. That is amazing. Welcome to today's masterclass. Right. Permit me, Ubong, I'll be stopping your share so I can share my screen. Okay, please let me know when you can see my screen. Can you see my screen? Okay, fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. Hi everyone, welcome to today's business analysis masterclass. And before you today is Nene. My name is Nene Ifeipro, and I am part of the Tenalytics team, and I'm here to support our business analysts in the house, right? I'm here to support you in the masterclass, right? So we're going to be discussing about how to build a career in business analysis, and we have a very, very fantastic host today who will be taking us through this journey in a very practical sense. But before we begin, I would like to get a sense of where you're joining from. I'm currently in the UK. I would like to get a sense of where you're joining from. My name is Nene from the UK, like I said. So I'd like to you can drop your first name and your location. Are you in Nigeria? Are you in Ghana? Are you in the UK? Are you in Canada? You can drop it in the chat room. I'm waiting for your comments. Fantastic. I've received one, but I think it looks like it's a direct message. Okay, you can send to everyone. Okay, that's fine. Looks like everyone is sending me a direct message. Is there a reason? Ubong, did you do a particular setting that you can only send to the host? Ubong.
Let me correct that.
Because they're sending me direct messages. Yeah. Sorry, please just give Ubong a second. Right, just give it a second. I've changed it, don't worry. So please do go ahead, type your messages. I've gotten I have Lillian from Nigeria. I had someone from the UK a second ago. Okay, Fumla from Nigeria, Paige from Nigeria. I had 2 people from the UK. I don't know why I can't find them again. Okay, I have Shola from UK, Peter from Nigeria. Fantastic. Looks like we have a lot of UK and Nigeria with us today. We have about 50, we have over 50 people on the call. So I like to keep the comments dropping. Right. Please feel free to type in chat room. Yes. Okay, fantastic. I have Stephen from Kuwait. Fantastic. Fifi from London, Champion from UK, Raymond from Nigeria. Fantastic, fantastic. Keep it coming. It's good for us to know where we are joining from. And that's honestly the beauty of remote training, remote working. Honestly, I keep saying it. The fact that people in different environments can work or can learn from that can get the same quality of training. My work is majorly remote. I literally go once a week or once every other week, and I work with people from across Europe, right? And that's the beauty of remote working. The fact that you can work with people, you can interact with people over the internet. Fantastic. It looks exciting, but I really want us to participate. I tell people this: the sessions you participate in are the sessions you remember. And today is a fantastic masterclass that we have the one and only Sean, right, facilitating today's masterclass. So today's masterclass is going to be very insightful. So you want to be as energetic as possible and try at your best to contribute and partake in today's class. So now I know some of us, how many of us this is our first time hearing about Tenalytics? If this is your first time hearing about Tenalytics, type 1 in the chat room. Or if you've heard about Tenalytics or attended our masterclass before, you can type a $X. So a $X if you've heard about Tenalytics before or you've attended our masterclass. But if this is your first time, you can type a 1. Oh, so I'm seeing a lot of X's. I'm seeing, looks like we don't really have much new people. So I'm seeing X's. I'm seeing X's. Oh, fantastic. So that means we have repeats. We have people who have attended previous masterclasses or maybe have attended a different program and are here to witness the business analysis one. Fantastic. So like you all know right about now, and I'm still going to introduce, okay, I know that some people will be new and they're shy to talk, but don't worry, I got you, right? So Tenalytics is a cutting-edge educational technology firm that is dedicated to lowering the barrier for people of the Black community into the tech environment. And when we mean tech is not just the industry. Literally, tech is literally across everywhere, because every industry utilizes technology. Every industry is looking for how they can move forward, advance with the new technology. So they need people who understand these new technologies, who understand, no, it might not even be new, but to the company, it's new, but because it's been existing, right? But they want people that understand how to use these technologies to help them move from where they are to where they need to be. So Technalytics has said, we want more people of the Black community inside this space. We want more people from the Black community, from Africa, inside this space. So we've provided programs that we have identified as easy to learn, easy to transit, and yes, the money is good, right? And we have gone across the world and we have identified facilitators that are knowledgeable. They are really good at what they do, and they are dedicated to encouraging people from the Black community to enter this space. So they are not saying, oh, I want to be the only Black person here, right? No, we want other Black people, we want other Africans to enter this space with us. So we have identified people from different walks of life that are good, right? That are very, very good. So we have one of them in our midst today, right? Now, concerning business analysis, right? Why are we looking at business analysis? And Sean is going to give us a more detailed introduction to business analysis. I'm just going to talk about a high level point, is that most business analysis is really dedicated to helping the business plan their projects, plan their works, plan what they need to do, because companies have realized that majority of their projects, majority of the things they want to achieve, they're not achieving it because there is no proper planning. There's no proper stakeholder management. There are so many things that are missing. So in order to be able to match up these things, they are looking for business analysts who have this skill set, who have this knowledge, right, to come and fill the gaps and help them achieve what they want to achieve. And Technalytics has designed a program called the Master Business Analyst Program that will help you to get these skills, get this knowledge, and be useful to organizations. Now, today is a masterclass dedicated towards this, right? So the first thing we're going to do is to get our hands busy and get practical. We're going to discuss this pathway of becoming a business analyst and getting an international work experience, international exposure, right? We also have a special offer for you, and we're going to talk about the Technalytics Growth Internship. Now, with us today is Oluwaseun Fagbole. When I tell you that we literally search around and we identify who are the people that are. Sorry, is it only Adiola? Can you all hear me? Can you all hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, fantastic. Adiola, please check your audio. I'm not sure. I feel it's just you, right? Okay, fantastic. So Sean is a fantastic person. Sean currently works as a product reliability engineer with Visa, right? Prior to this, he worked with Slingo UK in the IT and data department. He has a master's in data science from the University of Salford. He also worked with MTN. He worked with a couple of places, and he has been doing this for over 6 years, literally almost 10 years. Over 6 years he has been doing this. So you can, okay, sorry about that. Yeah. So you can see that Technalytics has gone and searched for people who are doing this on a day-to-day. And they have garnered this experience, and they are coming to talk to you about. They are coming to share from the wealth of their knowledge. So please, help me welcome Oluwaseun Fagbole. You can just give me your favorite emojis. You can give me a thumbs up. You can give me a smiley. Just give me something in the chat room as we welcome Oluwaseun Fagbole. I'm waiting for your emojis. Yeah, fantastic, Adekpeju, although you sent it to me alone. Fantastic, Andre. Fantastic. I need to see those emojis coming. I need to see them. Fantastic. I also see the icons, the thumbs up and all. Fantastic. We need to be enthusiastic. Remember, the classes that you participate in are the classes you remember. Sean, please, over to you.
Thank you very much, Nene. And good evening, everyone. Yeah, I'm just going to introduce myself in a bit, but before I do that, 1 second. I just want to know, I just want us to share. I mean, I understand we are here for business analysis, right? But I want us to share what industries we're currently working in, right? What do you do currently at the moment? Are you a student? Are you currently a business analyst? Because yeah, we could have some here. Are you a nurse, a doctor? Because I had, a lot of nurses and doctors, transition into business analysis and the like. So just to get a feel of where you're at the moment. If you're a student, you could put that as well. Okay, real estate, sales and marketing, business support, healthcare. All right, good. IT business analyst, real estate consultant, entrepreneur. All right, work in education, academy. Okay, data analyst. Purple works in fashion. That's quite interesting. Photographer, nice. Procurement. Okay, good. So I'm currently sharing my screen. I don't know if you can see my screen. Customer support. All right, that's good. Please let me know if you're able to see my screen.
Yes, we can see your screen.
All right, thank you very
So
much.
sorry, Sean, just a
Yeah.
quick one
Yeah.
before I hands off. So it's important for us to fill the attendance. Ubong will be he has shared it earlier, but he's going to share it again now. The attendance helps you to get the materials from today's class as well as the recording. So please ensure you fill the attendance. It's very important. Please go ahead, Sean.
All right, so yeah, I'm just gonna briefly introduce myself just as Nene has done. So my name is Oluwaseun. Say I'm a business systems analyst. I've got approximately 6 years experience cutting across telecoms, manufacturing, and payment industries. I worked previously with MTN Nigeria as a business analyst. I also worked with Slinko UK as a process analyst consultant. That was part-time while I was studying. I have a master's in data science, and I currently work with Visa Europe, the payments company, as a product reliability engineer or systems analyst, because the nomenclature of the role keeps changing based on industry. Yeah, so I'll be taking us through this masterclass. So yeah, I just want to get a feel of, um, your understanding of business analysis. I know you're here to learn about business analysis, but I'm sure a couple of us have an understanding or have an insight into what business analysis is, prior. So who wants to just, come to the mic and explain just what they understand by business analysis? Anyone? Anyone wants to give it a try? What do you understand by, I mean, no wrong answers, no, just, I mean, like Nene said, it's the master classes that you participate in that you get value from, right? That you remember. So anyone wants to give it a try? I don't know if the mic is open to everyone to come to the mic, or you could put it in the chat.
The mic is open.
All right. Anyone wants to do that? What do you currently understand by business analysis? Come on. There should be, I mean, I think we've got some business analysts already on the call as well. So just give it a try. What is business analysis to you? Anyone wants to bail the cat?
Yeah, my name is Adiola Abade.
All right. Hi, Adiola.
Yeah, so I think business analysis involve set of processes that helps in planning, carrying out planning in business day-to-day activities,
Yeah.
and also to probably provide a guide to business success in general.
Okay.
Thank
Good.
you.
Thanks for that. Anyone else wants to try?
Hello,
Hi.
I'm on Daniel.
Hi,
So
Daniel. Yep. Please go
can you
ahead.
hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, I want to say to my basic knowledge, I want to say that maybe is I think I think okay, I want to say is using data to help business make informed decisions. So I think that's what I want to say.
Yeah, that's yeah, a bit. You're leaning more into data analysis, but yeah, a bit of that as well. And Adiola also mentioned it helps in planning and all of that, right? So good suggestions or insight into business analysis. But I mean, it's important for us to introduce business analysis according to the standard, right, in the industry. So the International Institute of Business Analysis, IBA, defines business analysis as the practice of enabling change in an organization, right? By defining needs and recommending solutions that deliver value to stakeholders using a set of tasks and techniques, right? So I know a lot of us want to transition into tech, and that's why we are here. And like I like to tell people, business analysis is one of the easiest ways for you to transition into tech, right? Because when most of us hear about tech, we feel like it's that complex world, right? And yes, it can be complex. I mean, when you start hearing things about artificial intelligence, data science, cloud computing, those things can be, when you have to configure things, those things can be quite complex. But business analysis is an aspect of tech which you don't require coding, to a large extent, and you don't require, so much of technicality per se. So it's one of the easiest ways for you to transition into tech. So the IIB has defined business analysis as the practice of enabling change, right? So I want us to focus on, the parts where I've boldened, right? Enabling change, right? There's a saying that, change is the constant thing, right? Businesses are always changing, organizations are changing, right? The way a business has worked today will be different from the way they work next month. Companies are constantly releasing new products, new solutions, new innovations, those are changes, right? So it's a practice of enabling change in an organization, right? So where you'll be performing these changes, where you'll be helping a business to create a new product or a new service, is going to be, in an organization by defining needs, right? So as part of this change, there will be needs, right, or problems, right, that the business wants to solve, right? So maybe the business wants to, compete with Amazon, for example, or Jumia, right? And they want to create an online marketplace that can compete, with an e-commerce website, right? You want to define what do we need, right, as a business to be able to build our own e-commerce website or e-commerce app, for example, or a fintech app, for example, right? And recommending solutions, right? And then you want to, suggest solutions or recommend solutions to the business on how they can meet these needs, right? So just follow through, is the practice of enabling change in an organization by defining needs and recommending solutions that deliver value. So whatever these solutions are that you're recommending to the business, to say you want to build, an online marketplace, you should have an integration with maybe a music streaming app. So you want to build an online marketplace or e-commerce app, for the Gen Zs, right? Or for the teens that we have today, right? You want to build something that is different from what you have in the market already. So you want to, recommend a solution to say, okay, we are going to build an e-commerce, marketplace where customers can buy, or Gen Zs can buy, normal things. They can buy their clothes, they can buy shoes, they can buy household items, they can buy tech gadgets, but you also want to integrate that solution, into maybe a music streaming app, right? Like a Spotify. So that whilst they're on that your e-commerce website, they can also, stream music alongside. That's something different, right, from what we have today from the e-commerce, site. So whatever solution you're recommending as a business analyst, has to deliver value, right, to stakeholders. So the stakeholders in this case would be, of course, the end users who are going to be the customers, and then internal stakeholders in the company, the CEO, the CFO, because at the end of the day, the company is out to make money, right? They're out to make a revenue. So you want to make sure that, whatever solution is either, delivering value in the sense of customer experience, for the users, or in terms of revenue increase, for the company, right? And for the C-level executives, using a set of tasks and techniques, right? So for you to do all of this, for you to enable that change, for you to define that need, for you to recommend the solutions, for you to deliver value, to the stakeholders, you need to use a set of tasks and techniques, right? Which we use in business analysis. And one of those tasks and techniques, or one of those tools, is what we're going to be learning about today, right? So I just want to go quickly. So who is a business analyst? The business analyst is an agent of change, right? Like we said here, you're there to enable change in an organization. So a business wants to move from point A to point B. They want to create a new product, right? So maybe they had some products that are existing, at the moment, but they want to launch a new product, right? They want to create a groundbreaking product, to get more money, to increase revenue. You are there to enable that change. You are that agent of change to help them move, from point A to point B. As a business analyst, you identify needs and define the solutions. This is just expanding on this definition. You identify needs and define the solutions that will maximize, the value delivered by an organization to its stakeholders. So you're helping them maximize whatever value, right, that they currently deliver, to their stakeholders, to the customers. You act as specialized knowledge to, you have specialized knowledge to act as a guide and lead the business through unknown or unmapped territory, right? So as a business analyst, you act as that guide. Most businesses, most companies, they typically don't know what they want to achieve at the end of the day. They just have an idea of what they want it to look like. So, a business, right? By business is now, so someone from marketing, remember you're going to be working in an organization which would have different departments. You have marketing, you would have sales, you would have finance, you'd have HR. And you as a business analyst, you most often than not, you sit in the technology department, which is the IT department, right? So a marketing person can come to you, for example, or come to IT and say they want to build, like I said, an e-commerce website. They just want to build an e-commerce website. They don't know what's going to entail, how you're going to the things that they're going to build, how they're going to build the website, the payment integrations, how customers are going to make payments, if customers are going to make payment by transfer or by integrating into Flutterwave, or PayPal, or paying by card, or paying using their Apple Pay, different kind of payments, methodologies. They don't have an idea of that, right? And rightly so. They're just the business team. They just want to build a new product, right, to make money, right? So you as the business analyst, you act as that specialized knowledge to guide them, into that unmapped territory, right? To explain to them, okay, this is how we're going to achieve, this product that you want to build. And then lastly, and this is the part that I love most about business analysis, is that you are an interface between the business teams and the development teams, right? So by the business teams, I mean, again, the marketing department, the sales department, the finance department, they're categorized as the business teams because they are mostly focused on the business. And then you have the development teams, right? Which are the guys that does the coding, that build the actual product. So as a business analyst, you are that middleman, that middle person, that you're interfacing between the business teams and the development team. So you're taking a requirement, for example, from the marketing team. So the marketing team will come to you, want to build an e-commerce website, that has a music streaming app and all of that. That's a requirement, right? Which is high level. You need to be able, as a business analyst, you need to be able to break down this high level requirement and translate it, to the development teams, right? For them to be able to build that e-commerce website. That is where you come in, right? You are that interface between the business team and the development team. And I like it because you're basically, getting value from both ends, right? You're getting value from the business team because you understand the business, right? To some extent, the more you interact with the business team, the more you understand things about marketing, about sales, and then you're also interacting with the development team, right? The more you interact with the development team, the more you start to pick up, a bit of these technical things, even though you're not expected to know in depth, you're not expected to know the technical aspects in depth, right? But the more you interact, with someone, the more you pick up, the cues and some of their behaviors. Is the same way with development teams. The more you interact with development teams, the more you start to pick up some of these technical, things which would help you in the long run. So I like to encourage people, or business analysts not to run away, or not to shy away from, interacting with the development team, right? Try to get those technical bits, even though you're not required to do the coding. So you are that interface between the business team and the development team, as a business analyst. Now, the topic of today primarily is, integrating business analysis, with agile development using JIRA, right? That is why we are here today. So just a brief, a brief explanation of agile and who an agile business analyst is. We're not going to go in depth in this because this is a master class. In the class itself, definitely we'll go, we'll do a deep dive into each of these and all of the concepts. So basically, a couple of us must have heard about agile, and if you've not heard of it, a couple of us know about agile, and a couple of us must have heard about agile. In today's world, I think everyone should know about agile.
So, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
You're not using your screen. The slide.
I am. Oh, you can't.
Yeah,
really? Oh, okay. Let me check that. I'm not sure why that is happening. Second. Sorry about that. So which of my screens can you see at the moment?
The Meet the facilitator.
Okay. 1 second. Let me just sort that. 1 second. Is that still the screen you're saying? Just want to be sure. Is that still the screen you're saying?
No, it's moving now, but it's a little
Okay.
bit.
Okay. All right. Yeah, sorry, yeah. Can you see the introduction to business analysis now?
Yeah, great.
All right. Sorry about that. Yeah, technology and its issues. So this was what I described. Explained that the IBA defines business analysis as the practice of enabling change in an organization by defining needs and recommending solutions that deliver value to stakeholders using a set of tasks and techniques. And this was what I also described, earlier. You're the agent of change. You identify the needs and define the solutions. You have specialized knowledge to act as guide. You're also an interface between the business teams and the development teams. Right. So yeah, so business analysis with Agile development. So Agile methodology basically is a project management framework that breaks projects down into several dynamic phases, right? Commonly known as sprints, right? So I'll just explain a sprint, right? So a sprint is basically a time period, right? So say, for example, you want to build that e-commerce website that we've talked about all along for your company, right? In the traditional way of project management, the company or the development team would use, they would use the waterfall method, right? The waterfall method means that, you need to complete the whole project before you can roll it out, right? So you need to complete, there's what we call the SDLC, right? The SDLC phases, right? We have the ideation, we have the requirement analysis, we have the design, we have the development. You need to complete each and every phase before you move on to the next phase, and you need to complete the whole thing, before you can roll it out, right? So say, for example, you have 50 requirements, right, as part of your e-commerce website. For waterfall methodology, which is the traditional methodology, you need to complete building the whole 50 requirements before you can launch it out to customers, before you can release it to customers, right? But Agile does not take that approach. Agile, breaks down that project into several dynamic phases, right, which are known as sprints. So as part of those 50 requirements or those 50 user stories, I'm going to start using user stories because in Agile, we refer to requirements as user stories, right? So as part of those 50 requirements or 50 user stories, right, in Agile, you break them down into bits and pieces. So you take like the first 5 requirements. So some of the requirements or some of the user stories could be that, as a customer, I should be able to create an account, right, to the e-commerce website. That's a requirement. That's a user story. As a customer, I should be able to log in, right, as a requirement. As a customer, I should be able to, view categories of items I want to purchase. As a customer, I should be able to add to carts. As a customer, I should be able to, choose the delivery option. It's an e-commerce website. As a customer, I should be able to make payments, right, using my card or maybe transfer, whatever sort of form of payment, right? Those are user stories. Those are requirements. Right. So if you have up to 50 of that, right, in the waterfall methodology, which is the traditional methodology, you would have to complete all of those before you can even launch to the market, right? But for Agile, you can pick out, the first 5 requirements, the most important requirements, and then work on them, develop those ones, and then launch to the market, right? And the customers can start to use that, and that's what we call sprint. So you can do that, say, within 2 weeks, right, and then launch to the market. You can pick the next set of requirements, say 5 or 10, and then work on them again within 2 weeks, and then launch to the market. Take the next 5, and then launch to the market. In that way, you are able to launch your product faster to the market. And that is what Agile encourages. It encourages, a faster delivery of products and services, to the market. Right, so that is just Agile, in a nutshell. So it's commonly known as sprint. So if you're going to say we're going to build, we're going to work on these 5 user stories or these 5 requirements in 2 weeks, right? That's a sprint. So you're working on a 2-week sprint. If you're going to say you're going to work on it in a 3 weeks, duration, that's a 3-week sprint, right? Those are known as sprints. So who is an Agile business analyst? An Agile business analyst, understands the Agile methodology that I've just explained, and can help a business use Agile principles, right? So we have about 12 principles of Agile and 4 values of Agile as well. They also help the development team understand the business requirements and how they can be met using Agile methods. So remember, as the business analyst, you are the interface between the business team and the development team. So you have the development team to understand the business requirements, the requirements that the business have given you, and how they can be met using, agile methodology. So what are the roles of an agile business analyst, right? An agile business analyst holds discussion with stakeholders to understand their requirements and their vision of the product, right? So as an agile business analyst, you hold discussion with stakeholders to understand their requirements, right? There's a technique we use for this, which is called, the elicitation techniques, right? Which we can't go into here. This is just a masterclass. I'm just going to touch on the eye level part. So using those elicitation techniques, you discuss, with your stakeholders, whether via a workshop or an interview or observation, or just to understand their requirements and to flesh out, their requirements and to understand the vision of the product. Secondly, an agile BA needs to analyze the whole system in detail, from the first iteration to the release phase of the project, right? So you're analyzing the whole requirements, from the first iteration or from the first sprint, right? You want to understand, what they need to build in this first sprint. So if the first sprint is just to build a login page, you analyze that and then you pass it on to the development team and they build it. If the next sprint or the next iteration is to build the categories where customers can purchase items from, you analyze that, what does it entail, and then pass it on to the development team, and then they do the coding and all of that. Thirdly, the agile business analyst is responsible for stocking the product backlog, right? This refers to establishing, the user stories that represent the overall scope of the project, right? So stocking the product backlog. So we have what we call the product backlog. So as part of building that, e-commerce website that I explained, right? You'd have, say, 50 user stories. As a customer, I should be able to create an account, right? So that I can log on to the e-commerce website. That's a user story. As a customer, I should be able to log in. As a customer, I should be able to maybe change my password. As a customer, I should be able to view categories of items I want to purchase. As a customer, I should be able to add to carts. As a customer, I should be able to make payment. Those are user stories, right? So if you have all of those user stories, say up to 50 of them, you want to put those user stories into a backlog, which we call the product backlog, right? Which we're going to look at it, briefly. So it's just you establishing those user stories based on the discussion that you've had, with your stakeholders, the elicitation that you've had with them. And also, the agile business analyst is responsible, for grooming the product backlog in most cases, right? So grooming means, maintaining the product backlog, right? So that it does not become a burden, on the product owner and the team. So grooming the product backlog is you just maintaining that product backlog. So say, for example, as part of those 50 user stories that you have already, right? You want to maintain that backlog to make sure that it's still relevant, right? Because the user stories, the requirements that you have today, in the next 2 weeks or 3 weeks, might have lost relevance, right? Or might have lost its relevance, or might not be needed anymore, right? So you need to take those user stories out, right? The same way, some user stories that you might not have included as part of those 50 requirements might come up. Maybe you looked at the market and you said, oh, customers love this particular feature. Currently, you've not captured customers being able to pay using Apple Pay or Samsung Pay, right? And then you see that customers are starting to use, Apple Pay, Samsung Pay, maybe using the Apple Watches, and you've not included that in the 50 requirements or the 50 user stories that you've included before, you can add that into the product backlog, right? That is what we call grooming the product backlog. It's just maintaining that product backlog to make sure that it is relevant, right? And that it is current. So those basically are the roles of the agile business analyst, right? So we are here for a practical masterclass, and we're going to be doing that, quickly. We're going to be getting our hands a bit dirty. And one of the tools we'll be using or be talking about is JIRA, right? And I'm sure a couple of us also must have heard about JIRA. So JIRA is one of the agile tools that you would use or that you would interface with as a business analyst, right? In most companies that you have today, most technology companies that we have today, most of these companies would use the agile development methodology rather than the waterfall or the traditional methodology, right? Because they want to release products faster. They want to, launch ahead of the competition, so most companies would use agile so they can deliver faster, right? And in using agile, you need to be able to use JIRA as a tool. In fact, if you look at job descriptions for a business analyst, 4 in 5, if not all of them, would, as part of that job description, you would see, ability to use JIRA, right? Because it's one of the vital tools that you need to be able to use as a business analyst. Right. So what is JIRA? JIRA software is part of a family of products designed to help teams of all times manage work, right? So it helps the team to manage their work. Originally, JIRA was designed as a bug and issue tracker, right? It still is. But today, JIRA has evolved into a powerful work management tool for all kinds of use cases. So from requirements, user stories and test case management to agile software development, right? So as the business analyst, you're going to be working most often than not in an agile team, in an agile environment. You're going to be working with the development team in an agile environment, and they'll be releasing products, using the agile methodology, right? So JIRA is one of those tools that helps you, to manage your work as a business analyst, right? I explained earlier, the product backlog. As you can see from this is a snapshot from JIRA. You can see backlog, so this is an example, you'd have a product backlog, that would have all of those your user stories in there. So these are some steps, right? Getting started with JIRA in 7 easy steps. We won't read through this, right? Because it's what we're going to be looking at practically, which I'm going to put us through. But these are just, steps, to do that. Create a project, pick a template, pick a project type, add project details, create an issue, invite your team members if you want, and the likes. So for us to work on JIRA, we're going to be using a case study today, right? And this is what you'll be faced with as a business analyst on a day-to-day, basis. And I like to tell people, especially when we're in a masterclass like this, that I want every one of us on this call to put on the art of a business analyst, right? You're here to understand what business analysis is. You're here because you want to transition into business analysis, right? So you need to participate. You need to see yourself, there's a saying that any battle is first won in the mind, right? The battlefield of the mind. So if you're able to put yourself first in the, assume that position that you currently, as you are today, wherever you're seated, if you're in transit, assume today that you're a business analyst, right? Because it's going to help us, as we go through this case study. So I want us to follow through and just work as if you were working today as a business analyst. Right. So this is a case study for Binge Game Studios, right? So Binge Game Studios, is a gaming company, for example, right? And the gaming industry is booming. In today's world, it's a multi-million-dollar industry, and you don't want to restrict yourself to the banks or to payments or to gaming industry is one of the most underrated technology companies that we have today, right? So you could find yourself working as a business analyst in a gaming studio, right, or a gaming company, right? As a business analyst, you can work in several industries or several companies. So this is a case study that we're going to be looking at for Binge Game Studio. Now let's walk through the introduction together, and this is what is going to lead us into JIRA, right? So from its rocky beginnings 3 years ago, this is an introduction. Binge Gaming Studios. Please, can you confirm that you can see my current screen? Just want to make sure I'm not losing people. Can you see my?
Yeah, we can see your
All right,
screen.
good. Yeah, so from its rocky beginnings 3 years ago, Binge Gaming Studios had become a well-known game development company in the strategy gaming industry, right? So in addition to the latest deep black and white game, right, Binge had developed many other games. So they're saying here that the latest game they developed is called a deep black and white game, right? That's what they just developed, which is the latest. But they have developed many other games such as chess, backgammon, reverse bridge, checkers, mancala, and this is a real world scenario, right? We're not picking this from from our heads. It's real, right? So a lot of us are familiar with chess, for example. I think this is the one that's one that's most familiar here. Chess mostly is like a board game, right? But today you have chess on an application. You can download chess from the App Store, from the Play Store, and play. You can download Monopoly. All of these board games that we used to know, even what, right, have been moved into mobile, or web, where you can play them online by using technology, right? So they are developed all these other games as well. So when a game was finished, the rights were sold to a publisher who took over production and distribution, allowing Binge or Bestman to focus on developing new games, right? So Binge Gaming Studios are practically or just responsible for building the games or developing the games. When they are done developing the games, they then give it to a production company to produce and enhance, and then distribute worldwide, right? They are just, focused on developing those games. Now, what is the background? While the Binge CTO was at a conference, so the CTO here stands for the Chief Technology Officer, which, as a business analyst, you would interface with for most part. That's like the head of your department, the head of technology, right? So while the Binge CTO was at the conference, the product team in the London office was already thinking about a new game called Havana, right? So the product team were thinking about a new game called Havana, which is about to start development. But due to the problems with deep black and white, right? One of the problems is that not only the 6-month delay, but also too many bugs in the testing phase and some usability issues that were discovered at the end, right? The product team was aware that they needed new methods to plan and develop projects. So I mean, looking at this from my experience, to say that they experienced 6-month delay and they had too many bugs and usability issues, I would say that they used the traditional methodology or the old methodology for developing software, which is waterfall, to build this deep black and white, and that is why they had a 6-month delay, right? So that's why they had a 6-month delay. If they were going to use another methodology, and that's why they said here that the product team was aware that they needed new methods to plan and develop projects, so that they won't have this 6-month delay and bugs, and usability issues. So the development team researched some ideas the team had and finally suggested using what they call an agile process or an agile methodology for the next project, right? So the product team didn't understand what that meant, but they were sure they needed to try something different, which is agile. Remember what I explained about agile? You have 50 user stories, you have 50 requirements. You take, you take those user stories in bits and pieces. So you take the first 5 user stories, you develop it, you work on it, you launch to market. You take the next 5 or 10, you develop it, you launch to market. Unlike the traditional methodology where you have to complete the 50 requirements or the 50 user stories before you can launch. Right. So the development team researched some ideas and finally suggested they need to use an agile process for the next project. The product team didn't understand what that meant, but they were sure they needed to try something different. They couldn't afford another 6-month delay in the next game, which is the Havana game that they want to build. All team members were enthusiastic about the agile process and fully understood what was at stake. They just couldn't afford, a 6-month delay. So maybe another company was already trying to build something like this new Havana game that they want to build, right? So you can't afford as a company to wait 6 months, using the old method to build it, right? Whereas another company can, start to launch some features, under 2 weeks. They already have a competitive advantage over your company. And that is why a lot of companies are using Agile today, so that they can have that competitive edge over their competition. Right. So what is the task? So you have been appointed as a business analyst or product owner. So in some cases, the product owner and the business analyst are sometimes, interchanged in Agile, especially where you don't have a dedicated product owner, right? So you have been appointed as a business analyst, or product owner for the new Havana game, and you're required to develop the user stories and upload them on the product backlog of the JIRA tool in preparation for the upcoming sprint. So remember the sprints that we mentioned, is like a time period. So 2 weeks, it's 2 weeks, you're going to say you're going to build this in 2 weeks, that's 2 weeks, that's a 2-week sprint. We're going to build this in 3 weeks, that's a 3-week sprint. Right. So you have been appointed, you're required to develop the user stories and upload them on the product backlog, right, of the JIRA tool in preparation for the upcoming sprint. Right. So about the Havana game, right? So I just to give you an understanding of the Havana game, and this is how the business team would engage you, right? They would, remember, you have the business team, say someone from marketing or sales, they will come with you with this high-level requirements, but as part of that, you then need to have discussions with them, which you call elicitation techniques, right? We won't be able to go into that. Those are some of the techniques we'll talk about in the actual business analysis class if you do enroll. So what is the Havana game? So the Havana game is a 2-player. Mr. Mansour, do you want to mute? Thanks. Mr. Mansour, do you want to mute your mic for us, please? Thank you very much. So the Havana game is a 2-player abstract strategy board game invented by Christian Freeling. It belongs to the family of games commonly called connection games. So it's a 2-player, game, so 2 players have to play it. So what are the game rules? One player plays as black, the other plays as white. The white starts, after which the moves will alternate, meaning if I start as the white player, then the black player would play next. The rules are as follows. Each player places 1 stone of their color on the board per turn. right? If it's white or black, the stones are never moved, captured, or otherwise changed, right? A player wins when they complete one of three different structures from unbroken lines or parts of connected stones, all of their color, right? These are just the game rules. Just as we have game rules, for chess, you have the bishop, you have what the bishop can do for chess, you have what the queen can do, you have what the knight can do, So yeah, this is the rules for the new Havana game you're working on as a business analyst. A ring is a ring. So a player wins when they complete one of three different structures from a broken lines or part of connected stones, all of their color, right? So these are the different structures that a player has to complete to win. So a ring is a loop around one or more cells, right? No matter whether the encircled cells are occupied by any player or empty. So a ring is a loop around one or more cells. So if you look here on the right hand side, this is a loop, or this is a ring, right? So if as a player, as a white player, as we're alternating our playing, I'm able to create a ring, right? That means I've won this game, right? So your responsibility as my opponent is to make sure I don't create a ring, and the same goes for me, right? That's one. A bridge, the second structure is a bridge which connects two of the six corner cells of the board, right? So this is a bridge, right? So if I'm able to create a bridge that connects, two of these corners, this is one corner, this is another corner, and I'm able to successfully create this bridge using my tile. Remember, we were using a tile or stone, using my stone, and the color, then I've won this game. Then the third structure is a fork, which connects any three edges of the board. Corner points are not considered part of an edge, right? So this is a fork, right? This gives the shape of a fork, right? So if I'm able to successfully build this, as part of us playing and alternating, then I've won the game, right? So this is just the game rules, right? So as a business analyst, the business team, the marketing team would give you this requirement on the high level, right? And it is your responsibility then to review that requirement, sit with them, then break this down into bits and pieces to understand what they actually want to achieve. And that is what you would do using the elicitation techniques, right? So as part of that, your elicitation, sitting with them, doing your workshops and all of that, you then come up with your user stories, right? So these are user stories that I've come up with, right? So you can see here, you have just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 requirements that they've given to you. But based on your discussion or based on your personal research, based on your discussion with the business team, you've been able to expatiate, and build on those high-level requirements, and you'll be able to develop your user stories, right? So these are user stories based on that. So as a player, you see here, they just told you the rules. They didn't tell you, okay, as a player, you should be able to start the game. But as a business analyst, remember, you understand, what the game should look like, based on your research, and then discussing with them, or maybe discussing with a subject matter expert. So that as a player, you want to start a new game, right? I can start a new game. As a player, I should be able to restore a saved game, right? If you've started a new game and you didn't finish it, you want to be able to save it and restore it. As a player, I should be able to select the computer's playing strength, right? So a lot of us, if you're familiar with playing games, maybe FIFA, you can select, or maybe Mortal Kombat, you can select the strength of your opponent, especially when you're playing against computer, right? You can select whether medium, or high or low. You can select the strength of the opponent. As a player, I can play against a weak engine that recognizes rings. That's a weak opponent. As a player, I can play against a weak engine that recognizes bridge. As a player, I can play against a weak engine that recognizes forks. As a player, I can play against a medium strength engine. As a player, I can play against a strong engine. As a player, I can be able to use the system to play against another human on my computer. As a player, I want the computer to recognize a winning shape. As a player, I want a nice looking splash screen. When the program starts, when you start a game, you want just for a fizzy, a splash screen to just something to just show film, and give a nice sound to show that, okay, you're about to start the game, So these are user stories that you would flesh out as a business analyst, right? Based on your elicitation, based on your discussion with the stakeholders, and with the teams. As a player, I would like to ask for hints sometimes. Some games will give you hints on what to do next. As a player, I want to be able to view an interactive tutorial. As a player, I want the system to play background music. All of these are, user stories, of requirements that you would need, for the game, right? Here we have up to 32 of those user stories. So remember, so this is the case study that we have looked at, so far. So remember, your task is, you've been appointed as a business analyst or the product owner for the new Havana game, and you're required to develop the user stories and upload them on the product backlog, of the JIRA tool in preparation for the upcoming sprint. So we've developed the user stories. These are the user stories. Now we need to upload them on the product backlog of the JIRA tool, right? This is, now we're going to look at JIRA and how we're going to, use JIRA to upload these user stories, for work management and for everyone to be able to see it, for everyone in the Agile team to be able to see it. So I'm going to just unshare my screen and then go on JIRA. I'm just going to paste the link in the chat for anyone that wants to, do this with us. You're welcome to follow through. It's a practical masterclass. I'm trying to locate the chat box to everyone in the meeting. You can get this by just typing JIRA on Google. It's just going to open up to you. So I'm going to stop sharing this and then share my new screen. Second. All right. Okay, please let me know if you're able to see my new screen, which is the JIRA that has Altesian, our cloud products. If you're able to see that, please let me know. Are we able to see my new screen?
Yes.
Okay, the one that has Altesian, right? So I've just
Yes.
posted the chat in the group. So what I just did, like I said, I've just posted the link rather in the group. Now you can just type in JIRA here and then click on that. Then it's gonna just no, I just want JIRA. Type in JIRA, and then it's gonna open this up to you. Altesian. So I can just click on this. 1 second. Just go back to the link sheet. Right, so you can just click on the link that I shared. So we're going to be using the free JIRA tool today. Most companies, would have subscribed to JIRA, would have it, running as part of their Altesian work suite, but we're going to be using the free software today because, we can't use the paid one, or we don't have access to the paid one for the purpose of this masterclass. Right, so so you can see Confluence, you can see JIRA management, JIRA service management. So we're going to be going for JIRA service management. Confluence is just used for documents, to manage your document, document collaboration, to store documents and the likes. But for the purpose of, your responsibility as a business analyst, you want to be able to use the JIRA. So I'm going to select JIRA service management here. Click on next. So it's going to ask me to create, a site, a website, or use a name. So I'm just going to put in anything. So I could just put Oluwaseun 222. Let's see if that's not taken, because I've used this a couple of times. That's taken. Let's add 3 to it. That's taken 4. It's taken as well. Let's use Olu 1 2 3 4 5 6. That's taken as well. Yeah. Oops. Just do. I'm not sure why it's not taking any of the names. It must be 3 or more lowercase. Okay, it must be 3 or more lowercase. Okay, so 0. Yeah, so okay, yes, it's taking this, so just put Oluwaseun to 2. Okay, that's taking the 3. Okay, that's fine. So yeah, you could put in your name, add an appendix, to it or something, just to create your site on Altesian, right? So I'm going to click on agree here. This is telling me welcome back because I'd created an account in the past. For some of you that are doing it for the first time, it's going to ask you to create an account, for the first time, right? So so it's starting up, right? Artisan is starting up. Our site, or your site is starting up. If you're doing this with us, can you just put in the chat a yes so that we know those that are following us? If you're doing this with us, just put a yes in the chat. Okay, FW, that's nice. I don't know your full name. Shakirat, that's good. Lillian, good. Obiora, good. Remember, as Nene had mentioned earlier, it's the master classes or it's the sessions that you participate in that you remember that sticks, right? So Stephen says yes as well, which is really good. Right. So now we're on this page. It says select a template for your first project. So as part of Agile development, there are several types of Agile methodologies. We have Scrum, we have Kanban, we have Lean, we have Crystal methodology. We have all sorts. But Kanban and Scrum are the most popularly used templates in Agile, right? Kanban can be used in combination with others, right? So we're going to be using Scrum because Scrum is the most popularly used Agile methodology. So you must have heard of Agile Scrum, Scrum Master, Scrum Product Owner. So we're going to be using Scrum. So I'm going to select Scrum here, right? I'm going to click on Next. Right. So it brings me to a page. Okay, Glory Udeme, that's fantastic. That's good. Elizabeth, that's good. So it's going to ask me to create a project, right? So I want to create a project, for the Havana game case study that we've just looked at. Remember the Havana game case study, you want to create a new game using the Agile methodology, and our task as business analysts is to upload those user stories in the product backlog of our JIRA tool, right? And this is JIRA. So I'm going to just put a name. I'm going to put Havana game, or put Havana 10 analytics, right? So you can give it any name, give it Havana 10 analytics, so you can remember that you did this whilst you're on the masterclass with 10 analytics. You can give it any name, just create your project, right? So I'm creating my project using this name, right? I've selected Scrum, so I'm going to click on create project. So I click on this now, create project. Right. So here it tells me, select some tools that you want to, integrate with. So you can integrate with Slack, Teams, GitHub, depending on the kind of tools that your company uses or that you feel that you would need. Right. I don't need any of this at this time, so I'm just going to skip all of this. So I'm going to click on skip. Right. So it brings me to my JIRA, page, or my JIRA backlog, right? My JIRA workbook, basically. I'm saying, okay, take the tour. Okay, I want to explore myself. So on your own time, you can decide to take the tour, right? But because of time, we're just going to, explore ourselves. And that's why we're here, right? I'm here to show you the exploration, by myself, right? So if you're here at this point, can you put a yes again in the chat? Let's know those are following us gradually. If you're here, if you've been able to see your JIRA page, just put a yes in the chat quickly. I think there are new messages that have not been seen. Okay, Uchenna, Wilfred, that's good. Jamu, that's good. FW. I'm curious to know what FW stands for. I'm just curious. Yeah, so Stephen is saying don't rush. Yeah, we won't rush, but again, we also need to be considerate about the time. But the good thing is if you stay to the end of the class, you would have access to the recording. So you can always go back to see how we went about this and do it on your own time. But if you can't follow us in class, by all means, please follow us. If you can't, and you stay to the end of the class, I think it's the end of the next session, you would get the link to the record. If you don't stay, you won't get the link, right? Because they're going to share that at the end of the class, right? I'm stuck on select some tools. So you don't need to select any of the tools, Steven. Just click on skip and move on to the next page. Just skip that and move on to the next page. All right. So yeah, so here we have, our JIRA tool. So here you can see your work, things that are assigned to you. You can see projects that you're working on. So you can see here, this is the project we're currently working on, Havana Analytics, right? It has given it an abbreviation, H1, right? Basically takes the first two letters of the name, H for Havana and 1 for analytics. So this is the project we're currently working on. You can see filters here. If you want to filter across issues, you can see dashboards. If you want to view the dashboard, you can see teams. If you want to invite people or your team members, to view, your JIRA board, right? You can see apps, all those apps that we skipped the other time. If you still want to, link with them, you can come here to link with them. If you want to create a new project, you can click on this, to create a new project. But we have already created, our Havana Analytics, project, right? So here you have for planning, you have your timeline, which is sprints and things that needs to be done. You have your backlog, right, which is where it brought us to. You have your board, right, which will come to, at some point. Yeah, so this is your JIRA board, right? This is your blank JIRA board. Now, your task as a business analyst is to upload those user stories on the JIRA board, right? So I'm just going to quickly copy and paste, those user stories in the chat so that we can all, let me just try to access that. 1 second. I'm just going to copy and paste those user stories in the chat. I know there's a limit, the text limit in the chat box. So I'm just going to copy the first 10 just so we're trying to beat the character limit. So Steven, I hope you've been able to sort that out. Just keep those twos, right? I'm not sure why this is copying as. Yeah. Paste. I think this just okay. Yeah. Yeah. So those are like the first 10 requirements. You can skip the diagram that just, or yeah, if you need that, you can also use that. So I'm going to paste the next 10 requirements or next 10 user stories, right? Remember, this is Agile. We mostly use user stories, and not requirements. So those are the next sets. Yeah, we can just, use, okay, let me post another 5, 10, make it 30. All right. Post that as well. Yeah, so those are the user stories that you have developed, right? Remember, you're developing these as, as the based on your elicitation, right? There are several techniques, that you're going to use as a business analyst, before you get to this point: elicitation, process mapping, requirements gathering, analysis, gap analysis. All of those are part of the, the curriculum of the entire business analysis course, right? But we just want to show you, in practical, how to use the JIRA tool. So yeah, so here you can see here I have, backlog, and then I have, here it says, sprint 1, right? So remember I mentioned backlog, right? Product backlog, right? So as part of your user stories, so what we have seen now, for the Havana game, we have about 30 user stories, right? All of those 30 user stories are what's going to form our product backlog, right? So here you can see create issue. So if I click on create issue, right, it's going to pop out this, this box for me to type in something, right? If I click on this drop down, so I have, if I just over on this, right, you can see it says story, right? Also, if I click on the drop down, I have task, I have bug, right? So as part of using your JIRA tool, you can use your JIRA tool to track, user stories, which is what we have here, story, to track task, if there's something that needs to be done, or bug. So maybe as part of development, something has been done, and then the tester is testing it, right? And then the tester found a bug, right? Maybe one of the user stories says that the user should be able to create a password using lowercase, uppercase, numbers, and the password should be minimum 8 digits. I'm sure a lot of us are familiar with this. When you're trying to create an account, for a website or for an application, they have all of those password requirements. It must be minimum eight characters, lowercase, uppercase, must have numbers, so maybe as part of development, the tester is testing and they found that, the customer or the user can create a password with just six characters, right? And the user story says it should be minimum 8 characters. That's a bug, right? So you can bring this back, and type that in as a bug, right? So you just select bug, and to be put onto red and type in, what you want to report as a bug. But for the purpose of this, we're going to only be reporting user stories, right? Because we are building a new product. We are creating a story, right, for that product. So here I'm going to select just story. So here it says, what needs to be done, right? So I can go back, if you go back to the chart, I can go back to the chart, and then select my, the first thing there, right? That says, as a player, I can start a new game, right? So I can type that in, right? To say, as a player, I can start a new game. That's a user story, right? And then if I click enter, it's going to pop that up, for me. And as a player, I can start a new game, and that's that. The second one, as a player, I can restore a saved game. I'll click enter, pops that up for me. The third one, as a player, I can select the computer's playing strength. All the spelling of my strength is correct. If it's not, yeah, just take it like that. Yeah, strength, there should be an N there. I can select computer's playing strength, enter. I can then just decide to copy and paste for the purpose of time. So let me just copy and paste. As a player, I can play against this. Also, you could select everything, right, and paste at a time, right? It's going to, so if I select all of this, the remainder, right, do a Control C, come back to this. So it's saying you want to create 6 issues, right? So what we call issues in JIRA is, either a story, a bug, or a task. So remember when I came here, this is task, this is bug, right? All of them are called issues, right? I know that when we hear issues, we think, okay, that's a problem. Not exactly. So in JIRA, issues are things that needs to be done or activities that need to be done. So it could either be a story, which is a user story, a task, or a bug, right? So now I've pasted 6 user stories together. So it's asking me, if you want, we can create an issue for every line, right? Which is the 6 of them that, so I click on click create. So you can see here, it's created all of this for me, right? So I'm just going to copy and paste the rest for the purpose of time. So I'll select the next ones that I pasted in the charts. I'm also looking at the chart just as you are. And then Control V. So this is 10, right? Create 10 issues. Yep. It's populated that for me. Yep. I can come back and do the next ones. Take the next 10 as well. And then Control V. Give me for 11. Yeah, so create issues. Right, so it's populated all of this for me. So one of the disadvantages of, copying and pasting en masse is it's going to alter, how your requirements were ordered, right? So you can then decide that you want to, reorder it yourself manually. So this one, you can see a Havana game 1, Havana 10 analytics based on our, based on the name that we've given it in the first place. So Havana game 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I can move, just click and drag up 5, 4, 5, 6. Look for 7. Drag it up to under this. Look for 8. Yeah, I can do that, as many times as I want. Move it to 11. Look for 12. Move it under 11. Move 13 under that. Just to make sure it's ordered. I'll look for 14. 14 should be somewhere. Okay, 14 is there already. 15. Move it on the. You can do all of that, right? So here we have all of our 30 or 31, 31 user stories, right? And these are the user stories that is going to take you, to build the entire product, right? To build that game, that Havana game, right? And that is why we have them in the product backlog. Remember, the task is to upload this in the product backlog. So this is your product backlog. Your product backlog has the list of all the user stories that you're going to be using in building that product. Now I want to move to what we call the sprint backlog. Right. So remember when I explained the sprint is you taking at least, out of this product backlog, you're taking, say, 5 requirements, to say you want to work on these 5 requirements under 2 weeks, develop that, test that, and then release it to the market for customers to start using, right? So this is the sprint backlog. So the product backlog will have all of those 30 user stories. The sprint backlog will have just, the 5 user stories that or 6, depending on, what the team have agreed on. We have what we call the sprint planning session, the sprint planning meeting, right? I won't be able to go into detail on that here. The sprint planning meeting is just where all of the team members come together to decide which user stories they're going to move into the next sprint. They look at the priority, they look at the complexity, and all of that. So we want to move now into our sprint backlog. So let's say we're moving just 5 user stories from our product backlog. This is your product backlog, and this is your sprint backlog. If you've been able to get to this product backlog, just a pulse check. Can you just put in the chat quickly? Let's see how many of us were able to do that. FW again. Okay, now I want to know, tell us the meaning of FW. You're always the first to put it in the yes. Okay, Fumi. And the W, I'm guessing, stands for Wellington. Or what does it mean? Williams. Okay, fantastic. Yeah, Sly, good. Steven, that's good. Who else has been able to do this? It's good that you're able to follow us. Lillian, fantastic. All right. So now we've built our product backlog. This is our product backlog. Now I want to move to our sprint backlog, right? So you're going to be taking stories from your product backlog into your sprint backlog, rather than me having to come in here to create an issue just like we've done before and then type in. I can just move, drag and drop. It's easy. I mean, the usability of JIRA is quite, it's quite good, right, for you to be able to move things around. So I can just decide to move, my the user stories I want into my sprint backlog. So I can move this, click and drag up, right? It's going to put it there for me. Take the second one, click and drag up. Take the third one, click and drag up. Take the fourth one, click and drag up. Take the fifth one, click and drag up. Yeah. So I have 5 user stories in my sprint backlog. So we're saying that, these 5 user stories, we're going to work on them in this next sprint. So it could be 2-week sprint, it could be 3-week sprint, it could be 4-week sprint, depending on the velocity and capacity of the team, right? Depending on what the development team and the entire Scrum team have decided to do, right? So this, is, my sprint backlog, right? So if I can then decide I want to start the sprint, right? But for you to start the sprint, you need to be able to add some other details. So if I click on start sprint, so you can see here, it's going to ask me, it says there 5 issues will be included in this sprint. So you need to give the sprint name. I don't need to change this. It's H1 sprint 1, right? So this is sprint 1. So here is where you have the duration of the sprint. So if the team has agreed that they can work on a 1-week, sprint, you can choose one. If they've agreed that 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. But in Agile, the fewer there's a preference for shorter time scale, for a shorter sprint, right? From experience, typically most teams will use a 2-week sprint, right? So to allow them time for the development team to build, to code, those user stories, and then for the tester to test. So from experience, the sprint cycle that is used most of the time is typically a 2 weeks sprint. So we'll leave it at 2 weeks, so you can see here, it automatically, if you select 2 weeks, automatically select the start date for you as today, which is 18th of August. And then it tells you that this is ending on the 1st of September. That's exactly 2 weeks from today, right? So it does that for you. So if you select 3 weeks, you see that the date will change to 8th of September, but we're going to stick with 2 weeks, right? So sprint goal, you could decide to put a sprint goal or not. So we could say a sprint goal for this could be that creating or starting a new game, right? Starting a new game. So we could say that's the goal for this, that the user or the player should be able to start a new game, or start a new game and select type of engine, whether it's weak or medium or strong. Right. So start a new game and select type of engine. So you could it's dependent on you. You could decide to do that or not. So after we've done all of this, I can then click on start. So basically, we've started the sprint, right? We go back to the backlog. We've started the sprint. This sprint is in progress at the moment. So you can see it automatically took me to my board, right? To my JIRA board, right? So here you see to do, in progress, and done, right? So this is the first user story. Second, the 5 user stories that we've created, right? So as a business, as the team, so we're working on a 2-week sprint. So say this is day 2. So a 2-week sprint is basically 10 working days, right? That's Monday to Friday. That's 2 weeks, right? So say today is Monday, we are starting with the new sprint. Say the development team have said, okay, we can create that feature for the player to be able to start a new game. We'll move that to progress. So they've started working on this. The development team has started to build this. Doing all of this is coding. So they start to code that feature. To restore a saved game, maybe they say they can also work on that simultaneously with this. So you can click on this and drag to in progress. So all of these are in to do. They are yet to be done. We need to do them. This is in progress, right? We need to, this is what is currently being worked on by the team, right? Let's say, by day 3, for example, or day 4, they say they've completed this feature, we move it to done, right? So this is done, right? And let's say they decide to move this, one of these user stories that's into in progress, right? And then by the time that's in progress, perhaps they've been able to complete this, that's done, you move it to done, right? Say, they move this as well, to in progress. They want to move this as well to in progress. Nothing is in to do at the moment. All of this development team and the tester are working on either being developed or being tested. By the time it's done, you move it to done. You move this to done. So by the time it's done, and then you move this to done, So by the time all of those user stories that you've agreed that's going to be in your sprint 1 are in done, you can then click on, complete sprint, right? And then you click on complete sprint and it says, complete H1 sprint, sprint 1 complete, well done, right? I'm not going to click on this complete sprint. I'm just going to cancel it, for the purpose of the class. Then if you want to start another sprint, you can go back to the backlog, right? To start another sprint. Can then, decide to create a new sprint. Yeah, so if you come back to your backlog, you can see here create sprint, right? So if I click on create sprint here, it's going to open another sprint for me, sprint 2. So we say today is the 1st of September, we've completed this sprint, we want to start a new sprint, sprint 2. The same thing, move all of my users. Say this time around, we're just going to do 4 user stories. So I'll move the 4 user stories, into my sprint backlog for my product backlog, right? So we have all of these. I click on start sprint. So these, say the sprint goal as well is to, to keep selecting engine, to select other types of engine, right? So I click on start. So you can see that one automatically selected 4 weeks sprints. Even though we wanted so I can click on edit sprints and change this back or change the from 2 weeks from 1st of to 15th to update. You can edit your sprint there. The same thing in progress, you move your user stories to the ones that they're working on at the moment. If it is done, you move it to done. To do, you move it to in progress. If this is done, you move it to done. To do, you move it in progress. They are working on it. If it is done, you move it to done. If this is done, you move it to done. And then you click on your complete sprint. And that basically is you moving your user stories, uploading your user stories on the backlog, and then, moving them into your sprint, uploading your user stories on the product backlog, right? And then moving them into each of the sprints that you're going to be working on, right? And then you can view your JIRA board here to say, okay, to do in progress and done. And basically, this is JIRA tool in a nutshell, right? This is 80%, of what you would use JIRA for, or 90%, in fact, right? There are other things, if there are issues, if there are bugs, you can add them to the backlog. Like we said earlier, you come here to create an issue. If there's a bug, for example, if as part of testing you notice the bug, you click on bug, type in bug, password, user story, failing, right? So you can add that to it, that's a bug. If it's a task, maybe for someone to do something that's not a user story, you can add that as well. So yeah, this is JIRA in a nutshell. If you've been able to follow us right to this point, can you put a yes in the chat? If it's FW that says yes again. Okay, FW again. All right. Lillian, good, slide, good, Dami, that's fantastic. Jamil, good. Quite a number of us. Yeah, that's really impressive. Well done, guys. So you can, go out there and say, you've been able to work on JIRA. Yeah, Stephen, you have a question. Yeah, you can ask your question quickly.
Hello.
Hi, Stephen.
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just want to ask a question regarding from the task to the progress and to the finish line.
Yeah.
How, as a business analyst, how are you going to know when the software developer, when they finish? Are you the ones to put it in progress, or
so as part of Agile, so as part of Agile, one of the things Agile, encourages, or one of the standards of Agile, is collaboration, right? Please, can you mute, Steven? Sorry. I think I'm hearing myself back. Yeah. So it's collaboration, right? So the team is encouraged to collaborate together. So typically, you, the business analyst, the developer, the software tester, you are all going to be in the same space, in the same room, right? Prior to COVID, then in the office, you would have, a dedicated, it could be a meeting room that has been transformed into an Agile room. We just put it there. This is an Agile room. You'd have every team member, the product owner, the scrum master, the developer, the tester, yourself as business analyst. You would all be in that room working together. You might be doing other tasks, other things, but you're all there face to face working together. So if there's any clarification that is required, because you're all there face to face with each other, the developer can ask, you can make that clarification. If they finish a particular user story, they will communicate, right there in the team, okay, this user story is completed, and then you can move it, to done, right? Or they can say, okay, this is in progress at the moment, move it to in progress. They tell you, communicate it, it's done, you move it to done, right? Today, because we have remote working, right? So a lot of people are not going into the offices anymore. We have tools, that simulate that kind of situation, that kind of scenario where you can have, people in the same space. So tools like Slack, for example, Teams, you can just be on a bridge call, everyone in that Scrum team, will be together on that call. You could be doing your other work, your other task, but you're there. It's just so, if there's any communication, it's put in the chat, this is done. You can go to your JIRA board and move it, and then basically just move it as the communication has been passed. So one of the key, principles of Agile is, collaboration. Everybody has to collaborate together. The team members have to be together in the same space. In the case where, you can't have that physically, you have those tools that you can simulate. Galaxy A10, you're saying you're trying to hear me, but you can't, but you can't. I think that will have to do with your device. So you would need to do that. So to look up question, there's also a comment field in JIRA. So that would be, when you're raising an issue, right? When you're raising a task to another team, right? And you've raised that, then you can comment on that basically. All right. So any other questions so far? Any other questions from anyone? All right, so I believe that's it. So you can go out there to say you've been able to build. Can you hear me? Can everyone hear me, please? I want to be sure I'm audible. Yes.
Yes, we can.
Okay. Okay, so yeah. So yeah, this is JIRA in a nutshell. You can go out there and say, you're able to work with JIRA. But yeah, this is just about 5% of the techniques, tasks, and tools that you would need as a business analyst anyway, right? So all of those other tasks, techniques, process mapping, flow charts, risk metrics, business cases, um, um, stakeholder analysis matrix, all of those other techniques, the SDLC itself, understanding the SDLC and all of that are things we're going to be talking about in the class itself. Right. So this brings us to the end of the class of this session. So I'm going to hand over back to Nene to take it from here. Thank you.
Please, can I ask a question?
Yeah, Victoria, you can go ahead quickly.
Okay, good evening. Thank you very much. That was a very wonderful lecture. So I really enjoyed this lecture, but I missed out on something, which is I didn't really get how you were able to populate the I don't even know what to call I don't know what to call this
To
part.
populate the product backlog.
Yes.
You're referring to this one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the purpose of time, we'll be able to do that again because I think we're out of time. But
Okay.
if you stay till the end of the class, you have the recording, so you can go over it on your own pace.
That's fine then. All right. Thank you.
Sly saying, is this all there is about user stories, or is there some more to be discovered? Of course, there's some more to be discovered about user stories. There's a way you have to write your user stories for it to be, we call it the invest criteria, right? Which are things we'll talk about in detail in class, right? Your user stories have to be independent. Invest is an acronym for how to write user stories, right? You can say all of these user stories are independent of each other, and the like. So yeah, there are more, of course, too. This is about just 5% of the entire business analysis curriculum. All right, Nene, you can take it from here.
Thank you very much. I have a question. Good evening.
Okay, let's take you last. This is going to be the last question we take before Nene takes over. Yeah, quickly, Jamir.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, thank you very much. We really appreciate your time and everything. The knowledge you've impacted, really appreciate it. Yeah, my question is, what's the difference with this now? This is just you said this is just like a 5% of what a business analyst do on a day in day out activity. I'm just being worried that what's different between this particular task that's being done and a scrum master, or let me say a project manager.
So a Scrum Master is also part of the Scrum team, right? The basics of you as a business analyst, working in an Agile team is because, you have to have an understanding of Agile in the first place because you're going to be working in an Agile team, right? So the business analyst is responsible. The business analyst, like I said earlier, is interchanged sometimes with the product owner. You're responsible for coming up with these user stories, right? The Scrum Master won't upload these user stories for you. The Scrum Master is just there to facilitate, we have what we call Scrum ceremonies. These are things that we'll talk about in the class as well. Sprint planning, sprint review, daily stand-ups. These are the things that the Scrum Master will facilitate, help you take out impediments, but you as a business analyst or the product owner, you're the one that would, come up with these user stories, upload these user stories on JIRA, groom these user stories. So say, for example, one particular user story is no longer relevant, you can delete it, right? If you look at here, I can just click on delete, and delete this particular user story, because it's no longer relevant, right? So those are the differences. Yeah. Glory is wondering how JIRA, last one.
Thank you.
How JIRA will play out in a real estate project. So as part of real estate, if there's going to be a product, real estate has gone, there's a lot of technology to real estate today. So for example, right from the top of my head, one real estate project or product that can come up would be, so you want to show your customers, some buildings, right? So I'm in the UK, for example, and I want to view an apartment in Banana Island in Nigeria, right? I don't want to fly down to come and view that apartment, right? You want to give me maybe a VR view, virtual reality view of the apartment, right? You could build an app, right? As a real estate company, that I can log onto that app, and then I can see virtual reality of that product, of that, of that building, right? So there are several use cases that you could do. And of course, for that you have to build your user stories to develop that product, for example. Yeah. All right, Nene, please take it from here.
Thank you very much, Sean. At the beginning, I said that we get the best of the best, people who are knowledgeable, people who understand the rudiments of these things. So you can see that Sean is one of the top people there. So please let's give a round of applause. You can put thumbs up emoji, any emoji, just to appreciate Sean. I saw a couple of questions asking about the business analysis curriculum. So we're going to be discussing that now. I think Sean is still online and we'll be answering questions, follow-up questions at the end if need be. Please confirm if you can see my screen.
Yes, we can.
Okay, fantastic. So just more information about the business analysis curriculum. So just because Sean just gave a snippet today. We can't do everything in a masterclass. So you just give a snippet, just a tip of the iceberg, right? So the business analysis program overview. First off, it's 100% online, just like you had it today, 100% online. So you, in the comfort of your house, in the comfort of your room or your bed, wherever you're learning from, you can get the same quality of training that someone in a completely different continent, a completely different country is getting, even a completely different time zone, right? And we are very focused on hands-on practical sessions. We believe in experiential learning because it is your ability to do that will help you get that job. It's not just you learning and watching Sean, right? But you're practicing alongside Sean. You're going to get projects that you're working on, right? You're going to have videos. You're going to have all of these things. Now, you also have lifetime access to materials. We have a classroom system, an online classroom system, whereby when you join the program, you have lifetime access to the recording. So just like today's recording, for context, if you join the session late, Ubong posted a link to the attendance form. It's important for you to fill the attendance form so you can get the recording of today's session as well as all the materials associated with today's session. Now, but for our participants, every class is recorded automatically and you have the recording in the classroom. So all the materials you use for your class, all the assignments, all the recordings, every single thing is put in the classroom, right? We are looking at dedicating or developing global business analysts. So it's not just looking at business analysts in the African continent, but also looking at Black people getting business analyst jobs across the world, in the UK, in the US, in Canada, in Germany, wherever you find yourself, right? And we're very focused on having projects that you can showcase, because when you have not just working on class assignments, class project, but like real life case studies, because those are the things that you talk about during interviews. Those are the things you can leverage on your CV and talk about during interviews, right? We also have job prospect visibility. The goal is to help rebrand you into that professional that recruiters want to hire. We also provide that industry relevant certification that has helped people get jobs across the world. Really, Canada, US, UK, Germany, Ireland, literally Nigeria, Ghana, South Africa, literally everywhere. And because we are very focused on having the right skill sets and helping you to be able to work, not just you learning the skills high level, but actually being able to get down dirty on the work from your first day, right? So it's a 2-month training program with 1 month growth internship. Our certification is called the Master Business Analyst certification, right? Just look at you can check on Indeed. Now, we made a post. Was it last week? And someone said, "Oh, the average salary changes. That it's always changing," and it's the honest truth. It's just like, we're not posting it for just one particular company. You can go on Indeed and check the current average salary for Canada or for UK on it. You'll see it by yourself. So it's not as if, Analytics is coming to brand it in a particular way. No. So now the question is, how do I become a business analyst? And this is just basically talking about how our curriculum has been developed, right? The first thing we do is to give you a snippet or a crash course into the data analysis space. Now, why do we do this? We do this because we've seen that apart from understanding the basic understanding the business analysis tools. Employers also want their business analysts to have some level of data analytics skills. So we have a crash course on Excel, Power BI, and SQL for business analysis, right? Which will help you. So that's like your first 3 weeks on business analysis. Then you're now going to do core business analysis curriculum. Then we start with project initiation, planning, and agile essentials. Then we're going to software development life cycles. Then we talk about requirements, fundamentals, elicitation, analysis, specification, and approval. We'll talk about business analysis toolkits, leveraging Agile and Scrum for projects. One of the things that Sean mentioned today, stakeholder analysis and engagement, and setting performance measures. Then you get your Master Business Analyst certificate. Right, so this is this is just an overview of the curriculum again. So we have 2 classes for our programs. We have morning class and we have evening class, right? So for the business analysis program, we have morning class and we have evening class. The morning class is 11 a.m. West African time on Saturday to 2 p.m. West African time. So our classes are 3 hours on Saturday, 3 hours on Sunday. We don't want to clog you up with too many classes. So it's just 3 hours on Saturday, 3 hours on Sunday. So if you know you're not available in the morning, that's West African time, or maybe you're in a different time zone and morning West African time is too early for you, you might choose the evening West African time, which will be morning in Canada, which will be around 11 a.m. in Canada, 11 a.m. ish in Canada and US. So depending on your time zone or depending on your work schedule. So we have 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. in the morning, or 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. So that's for the Saturday class. While the Sunday class, if you choose morning, that's 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Your Sunday class will be 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. And if you choose 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. on Saturday, your Sunday class will be 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. So it's just for you to be able to choose which one you want. So you can't opt for the 2 classes. It is either you choose the morning class or you choose the evening class. One thing we understand about our programs, and it has helped us in the way we deliver our programs, is that we understand that people are very new to this program. People are very new to this business line, to this skill set. So we take all our programs, all our courses to be beginner friendly. If you have some level of understanding, fantastic. If you don't have any level of understanding, fantastic. Some of you utilized JIRA for the first time today, through Sean's class, and that's how it is. So we understand people have no knowledge, and we help you build that solid base, that solid foundation to take you and help you to be that solid business analyst that you need to be. We have some participants, current participants, who will come to share their experience very soon. So this is a detailed overview of the curriculum. When the recording is being shared, you will get this also. Now, these are some of the projects you're going to work on. We are very focused on experiential learning, on you being able to work on projects and say, this is what you have done, these are the things you have done, these are the things you can do, not just these are the things you have learned, right? So different case studies, you can take a look at when we send the slides over. So like I said, the goal is for us to help rebrand you into the desired career path, which is the business analysis career path, such that recruiters want to hire you. First thing we have to do is we do CV review sessions. Why do we have CV review sessions? We have CV review sessions because we teach you how to tailor your CV to each job. Even though the job title is different, what one recruiter is looking for is not what another recruiter is looking for. So how do you tailor your experience, tailor everything you have towards the job description? We have that in the CV review session. LinkedIn optimization session. We have LinkedIn optimization session because the world is a global village. Recruiters across the world are looking for candidates across the world, right? The other day, I think I saw someone checking my profile from Germany. I'm in the UK. That's literally the way it is. So how is your LinkedIn profile optimized enough that recruiters can reach out to you and head on to you? Most of us, our LinkedIn profiles they're just there. So we have LinkedIn optimization sessions to help you rebrand yourself. Then we also provide recommendation and reference letters, especially out of Africa. Most companies want someone to recommend you, want someone to refer you, want someone to introduce you. So we said, we as Analytics, we've trained you, we've equipped you, we can stand in the gap for you, and we train you. and we provide recommendation or reference letters to employers, to schools, wherever you need it to be, right? We also show you how to navigate the job market, because most of us are entering are in the new market. Yeah, we are moving from Africa to the UK to Canada to US. How do you know how to navigate this market? You've never applied for jobs. You've never really applied for like this kind of jobs in the US. You've never really applied for this kind of jobs in Canada. How do you navigate this job market to get this sponsored job, to get well-paying jobs, right? Then we also provide job and interview preparation. We don't want you to just, as much as we are saying, oh, we want you, as much as we're rebranding you, the goal for us is for you to get that job. That's the honest goal. When you have career advancements, that's where Analytics shines, right? So we are not going to say, well, when you get a job, come and give us money. No, it is for your benefit. But our joy, our satisfaction is when our participants get jobs. So as much as we're encouraging you, do this, do that, do this, we say when you have applied for the job and you get called for a job interview, reach out to us and we will take our time and prepare you for that interview, because every interview is an opportunity for you. And through this, we've had candidates who have gotten multiple job offers, some two within the same period, some two within a month, some two within 2 months, just depending on how the feedback, how quick the feedback is, right? So it has worked so far fantastically for us and our participants. We also provide weekly mentorship / career progression sessions. Now, why do we have this career progression sessions / mentorship sessions? Because there's sometimes you just need someone to guide you. You need someone to help you. You need someone to talk to you, right? You need someone that you can ask questions, not do your normal day, your normal classes, right? Your classes are coming to learn the techniques, you're coming to learn the tools. But this new space that you're going into, you've never heard of anything about business analysis, right? You're confused. You have some questions to ask. Come during the mentorship session, hear from other people's experience, share your own experience, and we are here for you. Right, these are some of the other diverse profiles that you can apply for from the realm of the business analysis, right? You can look at that. And we also provide freelancer optimization sessions, right? Our freelancer optimization sessions are dedicated for those of us who want to be freelancer. Then they say have a 9 to 5, and then I don't want anybody to be stressing me. I want to wake up when I want to wake up. Right? So don't worry, we have freelancer optimization sessions to help you earn those dollars, earn those pounds from the comfort of your house, right? While being a freelancer and working as a business analyst. Now, we also have a growth internship. Well, now, why do we have a growth internship? We have a growth internship because we understand that at the end of your program, you've had 2 months to learn. Yes, you have done some case studies in class, you've done your capstone project and this and that. Yes, we know you've done well, but we want you to hone your skills. We don't want to just leave you and just send you. We know. So we have dedicated 1 month where you are not learning, you are practicalizing. 1 month growth internship where you work on real life projects, real life case studies, real life scenarios. You work on it, and these are the things that you can add in addition to your class projects and all in your CV. Talk about during interviews, because you can talk about what you have done, not just what you have learned. So that is that. So that's the growth internship, the 1 month growth internship where you can hone your skills. So this is just a detailed overview of a roadmap of the program, right? So you can also look at our features. We've been featured on different dailies across different newspapers and all. Our next cohort starts September 2nd, right? And our program is for £400 for 320,000. That's for the training, the value-added services, the growth internship, everything fixed together. We don't have separate prices for anything. Everything is in the training fee. We actually don't even charge for the value-added services. It is just embedded in the training fees. Our value-added services, right? We add it into the value that we're providing for training. So we have an early bird discount, right? We still have an early bird discount that is running. And this is for the first 20 participants to register. I think we have different pockets of early bird discount. So this is, I think, our last masterclass for the September cohort that is starting 2nd of September. And I think this is the discount that applies to this last masterclass, right? So we have from £400, it goes to £300, and from 320,000 naira, it goes to 270,000 naira. However, if you don't want to pay full payment at once, we offer 2 installment payments, right? The first installment is £200 or 102,000 naira. £300, then 300 USD or 350 Canadian dollars for the first payment. That is between I think so that's the first payment. Then the second payment is at the end of September. So you pay your first payment now and you make the second installment by the end of September, the latest by the end of September, right? So these are the bank details. Ubong, please share the link. We have a link for you to get all the bank details, every single thing you need. This is UK and Nigeria. We also have Paystack link for those of us who are not in Nigeria, or even in Nigeria. We have in those Nigerians quickly just use your card to make payments rather than trying to open your app. Just quickly make that payment. We also have PayPal links for those of us in the UK, in Canada, in the US. Right now, this link is the link that carries you to everywhere. So when you click on this link, you have access to all our transaction details and also where to register. So when you make payments, you need to fill a form, and that form is inside this link also. You fill the form to say, I have made payment. Please, this is the program that I'm interested in. Because when you make payments, we don't know anything about you, so you need to ensure that you fill the form, right, so that we can confirm your payment and send you a complete. So you can do well to take a screenshot of this page. These two numbers are Tenalytics dedicated numbers. So that's our customer success team. These are the numbers that you can get them directly on the Nigerian number and the UK number. So you can take a screenshot of this. We have 3 participants who will be giving their feedback today. Oladimeji Tiamiyu. I hope I got that. Well, I'm so sorry. Oladimeji Tiamiyu, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, fantastic. Is it possible for me to get your video on so I can spotlight you? Okay, fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you very much. I'm going to add you to the spotlight. Please go ahead. Please share your experience with us. Tell us about your Tenalytics experience. If you want to share your screen, please go ahead to share your screen. Just take the floor.
All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Oladimeji Tiamiyu. A Nigerian. I just relocated to the United Kingdom about 9 months ago, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I moved into the UK 9 months ago. And when I moved in here, it was a real battle for me because it's an environment, it's a terrain that I'm not used to. It's an environment where even the English language we've learned from childhood is quite different from what they say or what we hear them speak here. So it makes us feel like we're actually saying something different, or the English language is different. The work environment, everything is totally different from what we have back in Nigeria. So then the job I was working for a very long hours of shifts. So I was actually looking for something that I could do. And I noticed a trend in the UK. Most of my fellow friends in church that I meet, maybe some of my friends that have left Nigeria a long time ago who I met here, each time I ask them, are you not going to work? There is a trend of saying, I work from home. How do you guys work from home? What's going on? And they don't really stress themselves. They work at their own pace. They don't have to go through the night shift that I go through. They don't have to go through the morning shift, sometimes packing extra shifts in order to make ends meet. It's always very difficult. It's quite challenging when you're moving to these environments. You need to actually be able to feed your family. For some of us who came here with our families, we need to vent for family, especially if your spouse is a student. You need to pay tuition fee, you need to pay rent, we pay on a monthly basis. So everything was encompassing. It was overwhelming. So I was looking out for programs that I could do. Sometimes I ask them, what are you guys doing? Most of them say they are tech. What's going on with this? What's going on with tech? Everyone is tech. Is it this coding thing? Is it programming? You guys should open up. And some of them will say, I'm a system requirement engineer. I'm a system architect. All these big grammars, I didn't understand what they all meant. So I started making my research. I went online. And on this very beautiful day, I was stuck with a feminist post. It was just talking, and I just fell in love with his speech, and I went on LinkedIn, I checked it out. Oh, Analytics. Okay. I penned that down. I went for others who I don't want to mention their names online actually. So I went for those ones. So I was actually considering the options that I had 3 options actually. I paid for one. When I joined the class, I don't even understand what they are saying. The packaging was too much that when we got into the class, it was just, I won't call it rubbish. I didn't understand. They were just they were teaching us project management, teaching us, it was not well structured. I didn't understand what I was going into. At some classes they come up with, they tell us Scrum Masters, they teach us this. So I was so confused. So I was speaking to my wife, and my wife said, "Why don't you give it a try? The other one you told me that you found online. Why don't you give it a try?" So I actually went back. I couldn't find a feminine profile again. I started looking for it. I was supposed to spell analytics, so I was spelling 10 and analytics. So I didn't get what I was actually looking for. But luckily for me, I don't know, some optimization came. So maybe because of my several search, so an ad came and it brought analytics logo. So I remember, so I went looking for the video. So after like 6 months, so I just made up my mind, okay, let me give it a try. And I tried in May. I must confess, it's been a roller coaster of learning. I can't explain, even if I would have to show my dashboards or be able to show the projects I've worked on. It's not enough to express how I feel presently, my growths. Sometimes, before now, when I hear Excel, I'm always running away. I don't even want to listen to Excel. That was my first challenge. Working in a corporate world, you need to understand the basics. I can work with Microsoft Word. I mean, everyone can do that. I can do PowerPoint a little bit. Everyone can do that. But the Excel, when it comes to statistics, calculations, no, I don't want to be involved. So I just tried. And the first class, I remembered it was Victor who took us that class. And he broke it down like, I was like, is this the Excel everyone is talking about? What's going on? He gave us how to analyze data. We analyzed it, we cleaned the data, checked for errors, cleaned them, then we started analyzing it. We visualized. In fact, don't let me talk too much. Let me show you my first dashboard that we did. Hopefully I'll be able to find it very closely. So we did, my first dashboard was, okay. 1 minute, please.
Your Power BI is up.
Yeah, okay. So you can see this was my first dashboard. This was my first dashboard. This is the Excel, and they just analyzed everything. And
So
before
we can't
now,
see Excel. We can't see Excel. You have to reshare.
Let me reshare.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm finding it, trying to. I think my system is giving me some weeks. Okay, there's no problem. I will just
You can share your screen if it help you to navigate all of them together.
Okay.
So rather than sharing just one thing, just share your full screen so you can easily navigate. If that's
Yeah, because I'm working on multiple screen. Okay, let me share. I can find it now. So this was my Excel dashboard. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Yeah, so this was my first Excel dashboard, as we can all see. So on the long run, when we did this, I remember that class, I was actually coming back from work and I joined very late. And the beauty of it was that Victor took us, even when people didn't get to class on time and they are asking questions that are unbearable, it was so calm. It was taking us bit by bit, helping us to understand the nitty-gritty of Excel as regards analytics, as regards data analysis, helping us understand the functions that we need, the things that we need in order to be able to use Excel for our job, even explaining why we actually need this Excel, Power BI, SQL as a business analysis. So like my friends usually tell me that, why are they teaching you these things? You don't actually need it. You are not a data analyst that you need to know business. You need to know Excel. You just need to understand the basics of Excel. You don't need Power BI. You don't need SQL. And when I was confused at some point, but then I continued. I followed through, went through each of the classes, and from this class, I was able to learn. We're also able to learn how to work with this same dashboard. We recreated it on Power BI, and it was very, very interactive. I saw the difference. I saw the benefits of, and at that time, my wife was still telling me, "Are you sure that you want to pay the balance of this program? Are you sure what's going on? Are they really taking you what you need to hear? Are they really taking you the basics that you need to know?" I mean, and now I can actually jump on any projects. It does not matter what data they give to me. I can actually jump on this project and doing it effortlessly. And one of the greatest things that I learned, because before now I never had any background in tech. I don't even have lots of knowledge in handling things that's got to do with things that got to do with things that got to do with tech. I never had any knowledge, any prior knowledge to it. But with analytics, most times in our groups, in our close groups, our teams, we work on projects, we work on this, we work on that. And this whole thing, we're building capacity in me unknowingly. And recently I was asked to handle a project. And recently I was asked to handle a project with my friends. Sorry,
it looks like you turned off your video.
Sorry. Can you see me now?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, so recently I worked on some project and it was, I couldn't believe what I did, and some of my friends were like, "Guy, how do you guys do this thing? I think I need to learn from you. These things were not things that were taught, but because I remembered one of these providers of this program that I subscribed to at that time. They were supposed to pay 1,000, I think it was about 1,200 or 1,400 for this course. And they promised heaven and earth, said we're going to do a IIBA course, we're going to write the exam, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And I remember the guys that joined that program, some of them that joined that program. I mean, when we meet in church and we are discussing, I'm so surprised that I mentioned Draw.io, they don't know. I mentioned Lucid Charts, they don't know about it. I mentioned some things. I even tried to mention some terminologies in JIRA, and they don't really know much about it. And this is almost 3 months into the program, and most of them don't have experience of these things. And I'm like, these are things that we discuss on a daily basis, even in our close groups when we are handling projects. These are some of those things that time will not permit me. I would have loved to show our present capstone project that we're working on at the moment, how far we've gone, In fact, I'm so mesmerized by the growth that has happened to me in this past month. Even though I have a very tight schedule with work, juggling work with studies, with everything, but then I can't just thank the analytics enough. I can't thank the analytics enough. I wish I can show you one of the chats I had with a friend who was trying to do a BA course. I was talking as though I owned analytics, because I know for sure that the person is not going to waste his or her money. I know for sure, because the guy was telling me, are you sure? Are you sure you'll be able to? I said, okay, before now, I took him to my house. I opened my system, showed him some of the things that I have done in the past. I never had this experience before now. In fact, the confidence that I have now, even I used to be a very timid person. I can't even talk into the camera. I can't, but now I'm so happy that even within my team, I can actually coordinate things. I can actually, okay, guys, this is what we are having next. This is our next project. This is what we are working on. As a matter of fact, we had 2 projects that we worked on lately, and we have one extra one that's within my team, the group that we're grouped into different sects in our what's it called, in our cohorts. We're grouped into different sects, and in that sect I was lucky to be working with very lovely people, guys who are project manager in MTN Ghana, guys who are working as HR manager. That's the beauty of it. Even though I don't have a tech experience, I don't have a corporate experience per se. I've never worked in the corporate world, but rubbing minds with them, it helped me to leverage on my understanding of how the corporate work works, understanding how I can do things. This is how we do it. This is how a software development team is. This is how we do it in our workplace. This is the reason why I'm switching into this. This is the reason why I'm able to learn from them. I'm able to rub mind with them. You will be surprised to have people who are bankers. You'll be surprised to have, in fact, there was this guy who was an immigration officer amongst us, who was an immigration officer, even though he doesn't have time. But then when we are talking about, when we are working on projects, he's fully in, and we are all learning from one another. The learning curve was so seamless. There was no, there were challenges because it's a new terrain for us as well. But then when we have different people who have experiences in other fields, the beauty of it was, I usually think that because it's a BA course or it's a tech course, everything that we've learned in the past are no longer relevant. But I now realize that it's just a modification of the things that we've learned in the past. It's just a modification, bringing those knowledge. Okay, I've worked in a warehouse, I've worked in a bank, bringing these ideas together, bringing this knowledge together, and implementing the strategies, implementing the things that are being taught. The scope of business analysis into it is understanding the analytic side of things, understanding the business side of things, and putting them together. It's so wonderful. I am always at the moment, I don't have a structured way to express my feelings or to express my emotions as regards how far I've gone with. I won't lie to you. If peradventure we are asked to pay the rest of the money, that the discount that we're being given, I'm sure I'm going to be willing to pay that discount, because what I have learned, it's with me. The facilitators, they are wonderful. I have learned from Victor, from Suleiman, from Ifemina, the support when you need. In fact, sometimes it feels like Ubong is my PA. Most times when I'm challenged, hello Ubong, I need this, I need that, I need this, and it's so seamless. Everyone feels like a family. We learn from one another. There is no reason for whatsoever to say, okay, this guy is being, so long you are able to speak up, so long you are able to, we have watch me do it videos, we have sessions aside the regular sessions that we are being given. We have other sessions whereby people who have complained, oh, I don't understand what has been taught in class. They still create time during the week to pull up sessions like this to encourage us in order to grow. I mean, the analytics, I can't explain. You guys are amazing. I'm not trying to hype you on the call. I've said anytime I have the opportunity to say this online, I'm going to say it for I have a lot of friends we are doing this course together. And when we are talking, we are not mates at the moment. We are not mates. We are not mates at all. When we're talking about the nitty-gritty of the job. I mean, sometimes I remember when we started our capstone projects. Most of my colleagues, they were complaining of, I don't understand JIRA, I don't understand this, I don't understand that. I went to the Watch Me Do It video, and I went through it over and over and over and over again. When I saw Shehu projecting this evening, I was just sitting back, relaxed. I was just so happy that, imagine, I can even handle, I became a JIRA administrator for my team.
Are you serious?
I became a JIRA administrator. Whenever we need to impute anything on the JIRA, linking JIRA with Confluence. I mean, we had one of the best facilitators so far, Linda. She was amazing. Though at the beginning, it sounds, what is she saying? And it was because she's already an expert in it. It felt strange when we left the analytics side of things and we're moving into the BA proper. Everybody were complaining like, oh, what was this? This is very difficult. But then after some time, she took us nice and slow. We got everything. We got everything. Thank you so much, the analytics. We really happy. On behalf of me and my team is sending you to you, Team Resai. We are saying a very big thank you. Thank you for the privilege. Thank you for the opportunity. It's not even about the amount we paid now. It's the value that was added to us. They call it value added service. That was the value added service that was given unto us, that was rendered unto us. You guys, thank you so much. We really appreciate. Thank you for giving us this opportunity. Thank you for the LinkedIn optimization. Sometimes when I wake up, I find employers sending emails. Would you like to work with us? Would you like to, me? Just getting to see my profile. Before now, I don't even understand. I just know I have a LinkedIn account. There is nothing happening there. Nothing. I may not be posting regularly, but there is nothing. But we're able to leverage the networking on that platform, understanding how that platform works. And one of the greatest things that I learned is how to share my screen. I never knew how to do it. Every now and then can I share my screen? Can I share my screen? So you are able to share your screen, your presentation skill, everything. There's a lot of things that were not mentioned when we're trying to start the course. There were a lot of things that are not in the curriculum that's grown. Those skills were rubbing up on us because of some of those things that the facilitators were opening our eyes to see. This is BA. This is what we have been taught. But in the reality, this is what we do. This is how this is being done. When you are faced with this challenge, this is how you tackle it. This is enough for us. This is enough for us. So many people are saying, can I get a job immediately? I'm done. You don't need to rush it. Just the baby steps. You don't need to rush it.
We take you step by step into analytics. Every single thing we have said.
You may not get the job in 3 months, but if you are solid, you know that when you're getting the job, you know that you're getting a wonderful job. You don't have to rush it. Okay, I must get a job. I must get a job within the program. There are several people who have given testimonials of not finishing the project, not finishing the course, and they've gotten a job. Why there are some that have not gotten, but they are building capacity. They are practicing day in, day out. And I trust God that God will give us all in Jesus' name. Thank you so much. Thank you
so much, Oladimeji. You have been amazing. You have shared your experience, and I'm sure everyone can see how from the heart he is giving his feedback. Thank you so much, Oladimeji.
Thank you so much.
Tiamiu. Did I get that?
It's Tiamiu. It's very easy.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much. Adinka, are you with us?
Yes, I'm here. Good evening.
Okay, fantastic. Can you please turn on your video and let's have you? Okay, hi, I'm adding you to the spotlight. Fantastic. Thank you very much, Adeyinka. Please just talk about your experience with analytics, right? What cohort are you? Just talk about experience. And I think I really like to get your perspective on the value-added services also. Oladimeji spoke about the CV and LinkedIn optimization, but I'd like to get your perspective on the mentorship sessions, all the other value-added services, the drop-in sessions, navigating the job market, things like that you've had, in addition to your classes, your experience with your classes and the likes.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. My name is Adeyinka Ologun, and I'm in the UK too. I came in for my MSc in Business Analytics, and in the course of trying to enhance what I've learned in school, I came across analytics, though that was recommended from a friend, and she told me, "You will not regret it." That was the word she gave. And I'm like, "Are you sure?" Because I've seen multiple groups out there that does things like this. How am I so sure? She gave me a word, and from the first lecture, I'm August cohort. So currently, this is my 3rd week in analytics, and it's been awesome. It's been it's been awesome. It's been great, and every step of the way I've been enjoying the class. For the sessions, that's for the CV sessions, well, I've not been able to attend any. This is the 3rd because I have a couple of things running at the same time, my dissertation, I have some other personal projects I'm working on, but I discovered that analytics has taken over my time, and I'm glad it did. I see myself sleeping around 3 a.m. I see myself waking up around 2, trying to do something because I feel the passion, I feel what they've impacted to me, and I love it. So in a nutshell, everything Tiamiyu has mentioned, at least the little space of my 3 weeks experience with analytics, I can attest to the fact that, yes, some of the things he has said are actually true. I've not gone through the whole process, but with the 3 weeks journey, I can confirm that, I know I'm going to have a better ride than him, because I'm energetic, I'm passionate, and I'm very interested in what I'm doing. And for the purpose of this this time, I just have a little thing that I've prepared, and I think I would like to just share with you. Oh, I don't know, I can't pick my screen now. But the principles I work with, which has been helping, and I know that somebody out there might need it. So before I started initially, I mentioned I was looking out for other avenue to learn something aside what was taught in class. And that brought about my intentionality. Yes, I was intentional on what I want to do, but how to achieve it was there. And I decided, okay, since I'm going for this course, I had other options. Since I'm going for this course, I want to give it my all. So for you that is just coming in, you need to be intentional on what you want to do. Then the other thing is your passion and your interest has a long way to go, because that's what drives you. That's what will make you want to do more. I see that I'm trying to project my screen, but I think I'm not getting that. I see the dashboard I created.
Would you like me to guide you?
So far.
Would you like me to guide you?
Okay, yes, please. I don't know.
There's a green button at the bottom. Have you seen it? That says share screen.
Yeah, I've seen it.
So when you click on it, it's going to show you.
Okay, yeah, I've seen it.
Okay.
I think I'm...
Fantastic.
Yeah. Okay, so from the get-go, under the space of 2 weeks,
would you like
I've been able to create...
click on share screen, so like it can come on full screen. Yes. So like at the bottom right, beside Zoom. Yeah, just move to the right a bit. Next. Exactly.
Okay, yeah. So with in the space of 2 weeks, tomorrow being the 3rd week of my class, I've been able to create as much as these dashboards. And then, yeah, this is from the group session of last week. And we're able to come up with all of this dashboard, and it's been interesting so far. As I said, I wanted to share a few of the principles that guides me in what I do, which has been, that guides me and is still guiding me on this analytics journey, which is being intentional with whatever I try to do and achieve, because that would help you. Aside the fact that, okay, the lecturers are there, the tutors are there, always ready to help. What is your own driving force too? Because their own energy must meet your energy to be able to produce anything. They can always try to impact, but if you are not ready, and the thing is, Victor is my tutor. He will always say, are you there? Are you saying something? Can you come up? I can't hear you and all of this. And I'm a troublemaker in class anyway, because I will go back and still send messages to him. I need to know this, I need to do that. So be intentional. Then your passion should meet your interest. And whatever you feel is your passion, go for it. Then never be afraid to start. It doesn't matter when or how you are going to start, but start doing something. Then another thing is, learning is a continuous process. We keep learning, we unlearn, we relearn. Just keep learning and then start small. Don't judge yourself by other people's pace. Oh, this person has gone far, or in the course of the class, oh, I cannot see it. What do I do here? Take your time. We have the Watch Me videos that are posted every week. You have the recorded sessions. When you go back to view all of this, you see that, oh, I even understand this better than I thought. And that has been helping. And as I said, it's my 3rd week. And I know that for the first 2 weeks that has been this week, imagine what the other weeks would be. I know it's mind-blowing and I'm ready, I am prepared. So have that energy and it's worth it. That's just the little I would like to say for now. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, Adeyinka. Thank you so much. I'm so excited that this is just your 2nd week. Your next, then tomorrow marks your 3rd week. And
yeah,
this so fantastic. It's good to see when we dish out value. People also trying to receive the value. So thank you very much, Adeyinka, and hope to see more testimonies soon.
Yeah, I'm excited to share more.
Definitely.
Okay, thank
you. Olorunshola, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Okay, fantastic. Can you please turn on your video so that I can add you to the, or if you can't turn on your video, no problem.
Okay, so I'm in the bus, I'm in Canada, is been on the road.
Okay, that's fine.
So maybe when I get up, I'll turn on my video.
Okay.
But what I'd just like to do this evening is to disabuse our minds. Because my own experience, it took me quite a while to make up my mind to, do this program. And that's because I was, like every other person would be, I don't know anything about tech. I don't know much about tech. I mean, how do I do this? Yes, I know I usually will contribute a lot wherever I work, bring up ideas, but tech is a different thing. And that is one thing analytics has been able to help me overcome. One thing analytics will do, one thing analytics will do is to give you that boost, Nene is here, she will just motivate you somehow that this thing is possible. And then you look at it that if, she can do it, and then she'll tell you the process, how she did this, how she did that. So nobody is, trying to cajole you into anything. It's not about the money. It's not, but it is, it's so real. It feels so real when you're in analytics, like you can really do this. So I wanted to talk about business analysis. So what essentially is business analysis? As it's defined, as a practice. And I look at it that what's a practice? Lawyers have their practice, accountants have their practice. So as a business analyst, you have a practice. And then what do you do? What you want to do as a business analyst is to bring change. It is a practice that, enables change in an organization. And how do you enable change in an organization? You do that by defining needs. And when you define needs, you make recommendation. And then this recommendation, why are you doing it? Is to be able to provide value to stakeholders. And then the question I want to ask us is, this definition I outlined for you, have you done anything like that before? If you search, you know that, oh yes, I've done something and I brought new ideas. I was able to like define the needs, make recommendation. So that tells you that you can actually do it. It's very, very possible. And maybe I'll also run through some of the topics that we've taken. Tiami, you have said a lot. Okay, so you see me, but I will quickly turn off my video again. I don't know, can you see me now? Oh no, okay. Can you see me? All
Yes,
right.
yes, we can. Yes, we can. We can see you.
All right, okay. Okay. I'll turn it off again.
Okay.
So there are so many things we've been taught. First of all, the thing about 10 analytics is they are very methodical. Okay, so I've taught before, and what I mean by methodical is they take everything step by step and explain every step to you. So for example, now, when we started the basic business analysis, we started with, okay, so what is business analysis? Who can be a business analyst? What are the person qualifications, you know, that you need? What are the professional qualifications you need? What are the business qualifications you need? So, you know, from very beginning, they lay a very solid foundation, like, okay, can you picture yourself in this? And then, yes, you can. And we went on to project initiation. After project initiation, you are doing stakeholder analysis. That takes us to racing matrix. You know, everything is step by step, step by step. And if you're in class, you learn a lot. But even if you miss the class and you go back to the videos, you are going to learn a whole lot, you understand? So there's nothing hidden, there's nothing difficult at all. The only thing is everybody in 10 analytics do their job, but you have to practice. You have to practice, you have to really pay attention to what you're doing and study. So I really enjoyed 10 analytics. And then one other thing I want to say is when we are in class, it's Sheung. Sheung would like answer everybody's question. I don't know how he does it, really. You're in class and how many people are in class and this person will not say, oh, sorry, there's no time again. And we'll still finish at the right time. I really don't know how he does it, you know. But be sure that when you come in, your questions will be asked and everything will be made so simple and so real to you. So that's what I have to tell you today, that it's possible. Business analysis is possible. Is the way to go as long as you want to solve problems, okay? So what analytics will do for you is to help you learn the tools. And I mentioned some already. So it's like building up your idea in a systematic way using different tools, right? So the racing matrix, and then we talked about SDLC, that's the software development life cycle, okay? Start from the ideation, the design. Please don't let me miss up anything now. You start from the ideation, the requirement analysis, and then when you do the requirement analysis, you do the design of the solution that you are preferring. And when you do that, you develop the solution. When you develop the solution, you test it. What kind of test? User acceptance test, internal acceptance test, right? Okay, so you do that. And after that, you deploy. After you deploy, you continue with post-implementation, which is like maintenance. I really can't rush through everything, but all I have to say is that there's so much to learn and it's very, very easy to learn. I don't know if I've been able to convince you. Okay, so let me run through one. Sorry,
Go ahead.
I've been at work and then we're just, you know. So one of the projects we've done, we did the Jumia Tech in-store pickup process. With this, we were able to, first off, Sheung told us the assist. Assist means the way it is currently. So what does Jumia Tech do? When Jumia Tech customers want to make an online purchase, they go to the website, make their purchase, and then they pay. When they pay, they will now choose in-store pickup. There are different options, right? You can choose for your product to be delivered at home, or you choose to pick up at one of Jumia Tech's store, because they have stores all over the country. So the problem that we're trying to resolve was because there was now COVID, and going to the store, people will just line up, spend 20 minutes before they get their products. So we're asked to think, and then we had to put on our thinking cap. So what will you do differently, right? Different opinions. I mean, in business analysis, seemingly no answer is wrong. When you're in the office setting and you're working, everybody has something to say in brainstorming sessions, and then you must listen to everything. That's one of the things we're also told, you know. So we brought up the to be. What I don't know if I can run through this now. Okay, so my own solution to that was, first off, you know, when people make their online purchase, before they even you know, close the website and everything, they should choose a specific date and time that they'll go to the store to pick up. You know, that way it's like you are trying to book for a road test, right? When you're booking for your road test, you have to choose a time. Yes, you're allowed to cancel, but that time will help, you know, Jumia Tech to work with schedule for everybody that is coming to pick up. So that way there will be no queuing up. Another thing my group also talked about is we can get boxes, electronic boxes, right? Where you have a QR code when you come in, and then you can just use the code and then you can get your product. So you will not, hand will not touch hand, let me put it like that. So that was something, you know, that we did. And then we also did the process mapping, the basic process mapping. And then there's also the swim lane, right? We did all these things, and there's still much because I mean, I'm still in class, okay? So yeah, it's been good. It's been good so far. And it was my cousin in Nigeria that introduced analytics to me. And when I asked him, he said, pay, I'm sure, you know, just like Tiamiyu said. Oh, no, it was the other lady, you know, pay, I'm sure. That was the same thing he told me. And I can tell you that is value for money. Mainly for me is the fact that I can ask any question, and trust me, I can ask question and they will answer, you know. Thank you. I hope.
Thank you very much, Olayiwaju. Fantastic. That's the beauty of what we do, right? At Analytics. We mean what we say and we say what we mean. Everything we've said here for value added services we provided, your program, your curriculum, we said that it's beginner friendly. Facilitators are interested to help you, right? To help you in this journey, right? We mean it. So just a brief overview of people who have actually gotten jobs, right? One thing I like about Benga's testimony is, first of all, Benga didn't just get a job in normal US, Canada, you know, UK. He got a job in Poland, and most people that know Poland know that most people complain about Poland that there are no jobs in Poland. Do you understand? And he got 3 offers. I think he got 3 offers. Yeah, he got 3 more offers. That's plus one he got. That's 4. So he got 4 offers, and he's in Poland. So that's the thing we try to say. Companies are looking for people with this skill set. So wherever you are, wherever you want to be, you can get the job you want, right? Olugbemi Akaribo got a job in Canada as a business data analyst. We have Rafiat who got a job as a business analyst at the Post Office UK. We have Utsman that got a job as a business intelligence officer in NHS UK, right? We have Emeka who got a job as a digital analyst in Western Union, right? We also have testimonials from different people, right? Different testimonials, different videos, right? So you can actually just see it, and you can just search on LinkedIn. So sometimes people say, oh, Analytics, you're bringing people, you're trying to package. Okay, go on LinkedIn, go on Instagram, go on Twitter, and search Analytics, right? We mean what we say and we say what we mean. When you get involved with Analytics, especially when you are ready, if you are ready, Analytics will give you hot, right? We just need you to bring in that energy, and that's why we don't force anybody to select a program. What we do is we try to guide you to say, these are the things, these are the benefits. You choose it, right? You make that commitment, and we'll give it to you. We have sessions, we have drop-in sessions, we have mentorship sessions, we have different value-added services that will help you, you know, transform from where you are to where you need to be. right? This is just okay, this is for a different program. That's a certificate from a different program, right? So like we said, the program is £400, 300,000 naira. However, we have an early bird discount that reduces it to £300, and you can, that's 270,000 naira, and you can make this in 2 installments. You can make first installment is 180,000 naira, and the second installment is 90,000. That's at the end of September. So please, like we said, when you make payments, right, when you make payments, click this form. So this is the main form. I'm going to walk you through it. So this is the form. Before we close, except we have questions. If you have questions, please, you can send messages in the chat room, or you can raise up your hand. I'll be taking questions immediately after I show this. So this is the enrollment details. You have access to all brochures. When you make payments, you upload here. This is for balance payment. That's the one you pay at the end of September, latest at the end of September. So you have all non-Naira payments or non-African payments, and Naira/African payments are here with Paystack. Then you want direct transfer to UK or Nigerian accounts here. Now, this direct transfers people in Nigeria and people in the UK. If you're not in Nigeria and not in the UK, you have to use either Paystack or PayPal, right? So so you can just go through the form and indicate interest. You fill the form, your details, next, right? You agree to our terms and conditions, next. You put your date of payment, you indicate whether it was Naira transfer, whether it was PayPal, whether it was Paystack. You put your receipt, you indicate business analysis. Then you choose whether you want morning cohorts or evening cohorts. It's important, so you have to choose. Then you select the date of your training, whether you're paying for September, you're paying ahead for October. You register your WhatsApp number, you put your country of residence. You indicate how you found out about analytics, and that is all. Make sure you click submit. And your payment will be sent to us. Your registration will be sent to us, and within 2 to 3 working days, your payment will be confirmed and you'll be sent a welcome kit. Now, this welcome kit will have all the materials you need just to get ready for class, on the how to download Excel, how to download Power BI, how to download SQL, how to download all of these things, so that ahead of the class you can get it. They will also have an onboarding session. I think the onboarding session will be for 1st of September. It's always either Friday or the Thursday towards the class on Saturday. So you have onboarding session just to guide you, give you like an introduction towards your class that will be starting on Saturday. So do we have any question? Patience, your hand is raised. Give me a second. I need to allow you to unmute yourself. So Patience, your hand is raised. I'm just taking questions now. Patience, your hand is raised. Go ahead, please unmute yourself. Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Hi, good evening. How are you?
I'm fine. Okay, I want to join the class for September 2nd, but I'm in Nigeria and I will be relocating to Canada ending September. So you know the time difference and all that. So will I be able to switch to?
You just choose the evening cohort.
Okay, I should choose the evening cohort.
Because you know that by the end of September, that's what you'll be looking at. So just choose the evening cohort.
Okay, so I have another question again, please. So aside this certification I'm getting from Analytics, in Canada, do I need a license to be able to practice as a business analyst?
So yeah, there are certifications, right? There are extra certifications that you can get, but your certificate from Analytics, your experience, everything you get is enough for you. People have gotten jobs without it, so why won't you get a job without it?
All right, that's fine. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Any other question?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other person has a question? I think we can take one more question and we'll call it an evening. Any other question? Let me see. So I think someone sent a message about deadline. I think deadline for early bird, I think it's this week, Friday, right? So but we are accepting. So it's also as the class, myself as the class is early birds for the first 20, right? So first 20. So the earlier you make payments, you secure your spot, right? Any other question? I'm trying to see if there's anything. Okay, if there's no other question, I think we can call it an evening. Thank you very much, Sean. Thank you very much to our participants who came to share their feedback. It's so interesting when you hear people who were just in a masterclass like this come and share their feedback. It's amazing. Sometimes you might not have seen them because I'm not necessarily in charge of business analysis, and you just see me once in a while, right? It's just good to hear people give their honest feedback, right? And if you want more feedback, you can actually go, like I said, go on LinkedIn, search analytics, business analysis, check it out, check what people are posting, check what people are talking about, right? Check on Instagram, check on Twitter. We mean what we say and we say what we mean. Okay, last question we'll be taking today is from Florence. Florence, please go ahead.
Good evening, class.
Hi,
I was making a transfer. That's why I couldn't answer you when you were asking.
Okay.
I've just made a transfer of 100,000 Fidelity.
Okay.
For I'll tell Analytics if I will be doing data analytics or business analytics. I'm not quite sure yet.
Okay, so there's
but I just want to be a part of the early bird.
So
because tonight is the deadline.
Yeah, so there's an option for I need to talk to a professional.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have clarity sessions. I thank you for mentioning that. So we have clarity sessions. Like I think we'll have a clarity session on Monday. Right. So you can make the payment, indicate that you've secured your early bird discount, right? So don't indicate your program, just indicate I need to talk to a professional. Let me see if I can just show you that quickly.
Oh, okay.
Just give me a second, please.
That is in the enrollment, right?
Yes, so give me a second. Back. So when you click this form, back. Yeah. What program you click, I need to speak to a professional.
Okay, I get.
Yeah, so when you click
I was just working on that now. Okay, I'll do that.
Exactly. So when you click on that, it will take you to where you need to go to. You understand? So then you have a clarity session, I think Monday or Tuesday, and you have like that conversation is giving you detailed explanation about the curriculum, about the courses that you're thinking about, and for you to make your choice, you can talk about your personal circumstance and whatnot.
Sure.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah.
So I think that's all the questions. So just like what Florence did, you can pay 100,000 and you can pay 100,000 to secure your early bird discount, but you must top up before the class starts by September 2nd. So you can pay 100,000, top up end of the month, or you can top up next week, right? But you've secured your early bird discount, then you can top up 80,000 at the end of the month ahead of don't wait because you want your payment to be confirmed and welcome kit. If you pay this 100K, your welcome kit will not be sent to you until you top up. You understand? So when you top up, your payment to be confirmed and welcome kit sent. So you don't want it to be too close to the class. So you should try to top up maybe around the 25th latest so that your payment can be confirmed since it's very early in the month, right? Right, so that's it. So you can pay 100,000 and secure your spot, and that then you now pay the balance. That's the remaining after 100K, 80K, then the balance 90K at the end of September.
Yes.
With that, you have spread it for yourself.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, Florence. Okay, if there's no other question, I think we can call it a night. We've tried. Thank you so much, everyone. It's so exciting to have people from different backgrounds, different environments come for our masterclass. And I believe that today's masterclass has been insightful. Today's masterclass has been knowledge sharing. And we hope to see you at the main class starting September 2nd. Do have a lovely day. Bye. You can unmute and say bye-bye to me.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Cheers.
You didn't send the link again.
Which link? Sorry.